From a tribe to an empire. Rest video is purement para intratnamento wino infringed recos de alter aniles. Los recos de la novela y la imagen son del autor original, no reclamamos propiedad. Note gusta esperar y quieres escuchar este fanfic completo ahora. Suscríbete a nuestro Patreon, donde encontrarás los mejores fanfics. Chapter 127. Attack the Barbarian Stronghold. Laser turret level. Legendary. Basic function. Laser shooting. Can fire lasers formed by the convergence of thunder and lightning energy and shockwave energy to defend against enemies. Basic function. Penetrating shooting. The laser will penetrate the enemy and hit all enemies in a straight line. Basic function. Melting defensor. The laser has the characteristic of melting the enemy's defensor. Extra function. Charging shooting. Almost no charging time is required, and it can be fired continuously. Extra function triggered by the god level talent of the chosen son. Construction materials. Gold coins 5,000, wood 6,000, ore 5,000, sulfur 500, electric lizard horn 300, angry eye 50. Description. The top defense turret that can fire lasers to defend against enemies has an extremely amazing lethality, and players only need to collect enough construction materials, and only need to consume basic resources for the 437 system construction. The above is the architectural attribute of the laser turret. It has to be said. The lethality of this turret is extremely powerful. First of all, the lethality of lasers is stronger than that of ordinary arrow towers. Secondly, the two characteristics of penetrating shooting and melting defensor make the lethality of laser turrets a qualitatively potent. And in addition to this, due to the effect of Qin Yan's god-level talent as the chosen son, the laser turret also triggered the additional function of charge shooting. Originally, intermittent charging was required to fire lasers. But now the laser keeps shooting until you die. Thousands of laser turrets are shooting at the same time, and the sky is full of lasers. After turning off the building attributes, Qin Yan's heart still couldn't calm down for a long time. It's simply unimaginable horror. As for building materials. Earlier, after Clay cleaned up the electric lizards. 300 units of electric lizard horns have been collected. Needless to say, sulfur. The sulfur reserves in the Hell Fortress are absolutely amazing. And it is also mentioned in the system description in the attribute panel. Qin Yan only needs to collect enough construction materials to be able to copy and build. That is to say, I just need to hunt enough Cyclops and obtain their one eye, then I can build unlimited laser turrets. Cyclops. V12, Order Race of the Barbarian Camp, the Angry One-Eyed One. They are large giants with a one eye in the center of their foreheads. They're about the same size as mountain giants. But their combat power is much stronger. Because their one eye can emit a death ray attack, everything is destroyed wherever it passes. The laser attack of the Cyclops cannot be purely called a magic attack. Qin Yan recalled the memory in his mind, and then told Clay beside him. So Clay, when you fight with the Cyclops next time, you'd better use the Dragon Princess form to deal with them. Okay, Master. Although Clay was arrogant, she obeyed Qin Yan's orders. Clay understands. Master. At this time, Alice also shouted in Qin Yan's ear. It seems that the Cyclops and the dwarves are born enemies. Alice, you arrived. Qin Yan nodded. The favorite food of the Cyclops seems to be dwarves. Indeed. Qin Yan remembered that there were relevant records in the official information in the previous life. The favorite food of the Cyclops is creatures such as dwarves or goblins. Even one of the skills they master is to devour goblins, eat goblins and then restore health. So Qin Yan agreed with Alice's words that the Cyclops was born to be the mortal enemy of the dwarves. This also made Qin Yan speculate in his heart. Perhaps after Clay kills all the Cyclops, the dwarves will open the entrance to their kingdom and take the initiative to ask me for an alliance. This is not absolutely impossible. And at this time. As we continue to go deeper into the Misty Mountains. Alice, who volunteered to be a sentinel, also brought back news. The nest where the Cyclops has been found ahead! Alice, thank you for your hard work. Qin Yan looked at Alice, who looked a little embarrassed. Obviously, she must have been attacked by the energy beams fired by the Cyclops while exploring the map. Although she was not injured, she must have been in danger. Alice raised her little fist and waved it. If Alice is not strong enough now, I will definitely beat them up. Then the sound of war horns came from the camp. At only level 5, she can dodge the lasers fired by the Cyclops. Although she is a little embarrassed, she is not injured. Yeah. In the previous battle, Alice also got some experience points. The only one that Clay can look up to. 0.4 A group of Cyclops gradually appeared in sight. On the other side of the mountain, countless creatures gathered together. Only Qin Yan's target this time is the Cyclops. Now the level has reached 4-5. Woo woo. Kill them all! Exclamation mark. Work hard to become stronger. Then but as an orange hero, her abilities in all aspects are very good. Under the leadership of Alice, gnolls, ogres, and cyclops, these barbarian camps gathered to form a camp. At this time, the cyclops have also discovered the huge black dragon. They raised their iron weapons and roared unpleasantly. The silver wing protection war aura is a powerful role that cannot be replaced by others. Although the great is not as strong as the cyclops, they're slightly smaller than the mountain giants, but still about 167 meters tall. They are no longer holding stone cones, but iron clubs with spikes on the surface. Their melee lethality is definitely not weak. Thinking of this, Qin Yan couldn't help but step forward and rub Alice's little head, and the latter rubbed his arm affectionately. Now, let Clay help you beat them first. Clay doll, as you wish. Besides, Alice's strength lies more in her heroic talent. If Alice's level is raised, the Cyclops can't touch her at all. At the same time, the most eye-catching thing is the huge eyes in the center of the Cyclops' heads. With Clay's current strength, gnolls and ogres, in her eyes, are all just miscellaneous troops. Master, I'm fine. Those slow-moving Cyclops can't shoot me at all. The eyes are so scarlet that people dare not look at them. This should be said to be a barbarian camp. Of course. Chapter 128, Hunting the Cyclops. At the moment Qin Yan gave the order. Boom. 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 A dark energy storm emerged. The nearly 60-meter-long huge black dragon body disappeared. Then a silver-haired girl holding a black flame spear slowly walked out of the dark storm. As you wish! Exclamation mark. ABU. As the voice fell. Suddenly, the rich dark energy surged behind Clay, and then condensed into a pair of more than 10 meters long black dragon wings, which suddenly opened behind her. Hoo. Hoo. The dragon wings fluttered up and down. Clay, in the form of a dragon princess, still has the ability to fly. Roar! Exclamation mark. Enemy attack! Exclamation mark. Kill this arrogant guy. At this time, the barbarian camp also became restless. The short jackals and the 4 or 5 meter tall ogres immediately began to charge, rushing towards Clay like a tide. Although they knew very well that their charge against Clay, a black dragon, was a way to die, but as loyal guards of the camp, there was no fear in their eyes at this moment, only endless brutality. 29 Roar. For a moment, the entire Misty Mountains trembled. Thousands of barbarians charged at the same time, and the three forces were quite amazing. But facing this scene, Clay remained indifferent as usual. All of you die. Clay raised her arm, and the black flame dragon spear in her palm immediately extended to 3 meters in length, and endless dark energy condensed in the spear body. Then, the black flame dragon spear broke through the air. Boom. 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 The black flame dragon spear carried endless dark energy and shot towards the barbarian army. Wherever it passed, the jackals and ogres were instantly shattered. And this is not over yet. After passing through the barbarian army, the black flame dragon spear smashed heavily at the gate of the camp under the gaze of everyone. Boom. The earth shook, the mountains collapsed and the ground cracked. With just one blow, the camp gate collapsed. The broken fragments exploded in all directions, and another row of barbarians fell directly. It was less than 10 seconds after the contact. The barbarian camp, which was considered solid before, turned directly into a ruin. This is simply brutal. Looking at the barbarians struggling to die in a sea of fire, Qin Yan couldn't help but touch his nose. It is said that the barbarians belong to the evil camp, but now it seems that we are the real devil. Lady Clay is mighty. Alice was watching the excitement and didn't mind the trouble. That's right, kill them all. And those Cyclops, kill them all. At this time, Clay didn't seem to be particularly satisfied. Swish. The dark energy dragon wings suddenly opened, and then Clay turned directly into a black light, rushing towards the barbarian camp at an amazing speed. But at this time, the Cyclops in the barbarian camp suddenly moved. The blood-red eyes in the center of their heads quickly began to condense laser energy, and then suddenly emitted a series of red laser beams. Cyclops rank 12th level. Race giant. Level 425 attack power, 450 defense power, 350 HP, 250,000 magic, 50,000 racial talent, demon skin. Can reduce certain damage. Racial ability. Rage blood. Activate the demon blood in the body and smash all enemies around. Racial ability. Devour goblins. Eat a goblin creature and quickly replenish HP. Racial ability. Evil ray. Emits a red laser shockwave from the single eye, which can mount the enemy's defense and is extremely powerful. Description. The strongest weapon of the Cyclops is their eyes. Any timid soul will die immediately once they encounter their cursed gaze. A series of red laser shockwaves were emitted from the blood-red eyes of the Cyclops, and they instantly crossed the sky and shot towards Clay. But at this time, Qin Yan's previous instructions began to take effect. If it was the black dragon form, Clay's size was too huge. Soaring in the sky, she would be a living target for the Cyclops. But the dragon princess form is different. Small and flexible, agile. Clay dodged this round of laser beams very easily. And she dodged all of them. Even the dark energy dragon wings behind her were not hit by the lasers at all. Awesome. Seeing this scene, Qin Yan couldn't help but praise. As long as you can avoid the laser beams fired by the Cyclops, it will be very easy to deal with them. After all, in terms of frontal combat ability, there is almost no one who can be Clay's opponent. And at this time, a pleasant system sound suddenly sounded in my ears. Ding dong. Under the influence of your title of Lord of the Abyss, all attributes of the Cyclops are weakened by 10%. The sound came, and suddenly, a layer of siglite was attached to the surface of the injured bodies of all the Cyclops. All attributes are weakened by 10%. Die. Then, Clay shouted angrily, then raised her arm and quickly condensed the black flame dragon spear, throwing it at the Cyclops. Puff. Accurate hit. Huge power, and terrifying black flame energy. At the moment of encounter, the Cyclops was completely swallowed up. A 12-level barbarian ace soldier, the Cyclops, was actually bought directly by Clay. And it is worth mentioning. Clay showed no sign of stopping. ABU. Black light flashed, and another black flame dragon spear condensed in her hand, and then thrown out. Puff! 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 Sounds like balloons being punctured rang out one after another. Every time Clay threw a black flame dragon spear, a Cyclops' head exploded directly, and its huge body fell heavily, crushing the surrounding companions into pieces. The Cyclops also fired lasers in succession to counterattack. But the effect seemed minimal. Not only did the laser beam fail to hit Clay, it also destroyed the already riddled barbarian camp, making it even more hideous and terrifying. Until the end. The Cyclops were frightened by the dark demon in front of them and fled everywhere. But without Clay's permission, how could they escape? Puff. 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 Clay rushed forward and thrust the black flame dragon spear. Suddenly, one Cyclops after another fell heavily. Then, pleasant system sounds rang in Qin Yan's ears. Ding dong. Congratulations, player, you have successfully captured the barbarian stronghold! Ding dong. Congratulations, player, you have successfully obtained the qualification to build the laser turret! Do you want to build it immediately? Chapter 129. A great victory, the dwarf appears. Build now. The voice came, and Qin Yan gave the order without hesitation. The words fell. Suddenly, basketball-sized elves emerged from the dense forest. Hey, hey, hey. Soon, a towering and majestic turret appeared at Qin Yan's feet. The radius of the turret was at least 3 meters. The tower body was made of extremely solid granite and steel, and the neck was a huge red gem. Detecting the surviving barbarians around, the red gem on the top of the turret immediately began to condense energy. The next moment, a red energy beam as thick as a bucket directly crossed the sky, and then swept across the entire area. The huge bodies of the trolls were pierced at a speed visible to the naked eye. After piercing it, the energy beam continued to extend, and all the enemies in the entire straight line were wiped out. Everything it touched was instantly destroyed wherever it passed. The power is extremely terrifying. It is worthy at being a turret that condenses the lightning energy at the electric lizard and the laser energy at the Cyclops at the same time. Seeing this scene, Qin Yan couldn't help but sigh in his heart. He has now met the qualifications for building laser turrets. That is to say, Qin Yan can build them infinitely in the future. The enemy attacks, and then all the laser turrets simultaneously launch red energy beams. To be honest, even the top dragons of the 14th level would not dare to easily withstand such a terrifying attack. After all, the lasers fired by the turrets not only have a penetrating effect, but also can continuously mount the enemy's defense. Even the thick scales on the surface of the dragon's body will sooner or later be pierced. Roar. At this time, the battle has gradually come to an end. With a low shout from Clay, the dark energy dragon wings behind her added it, and then suddenly spread outward. Boom. 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 Instantly, the dark energy storm spread hundreds of meters in all directions. Wherever it passed, the barbarians who were still struggling were all shaken high into the sky. The dark energy swept through the air and was directly blown into pieces. In less than half an hour, the entire barbarian stronghold was cleared. In this battle, Qin Yan won a great victory. Clay lived up to the master's high expectations. Although the battle lasted for half an hour, Clay did not show any signs of fatigue. It was just that the dark energy in her body was slightly consumed. But she still half knelt in front of Qin Yan and said respectfully, "I have captured this stronghold for you, the master. Well, Clay, you have worked hard, you did a good job." Qin Yan did not hesitate to praise his subordinates. Especially Clay. Although she looked very cold on the surface, Qin Yan, who raised her personally, knew very well that Clay was the one who wanted to be praised the most. Of course, this was limited to Qin Yan. Except for the master Qin Yan, no one can make the proud Black Dragon Queen lower her noble head. "Come, drink these potions." Then, Qin Yan took out a few bottles of vitality potions from the Lord's space and motioned Clay to drink. "They can help you restore your energy." As a black dragon, Clay is immune to all magic. Blinding, imprisonment, weakness and other debuff magic cannot cause any effect on her. But at the same time, all the enhancement magics are ineffective against Clay. For example, the wind magic that Storm Wings had previously blessed has now completely dissipated. The healing magic of the priests is also ineffective against Clay. However, the vitality potions that Qin Yan took out now were made from several rare herbs in the Research Institute, and they are not magic in essence. Its main effect is to activate the creature's own recovery ability, allowing the creature to restore its own energy. So Clay can also use it. "Okay, master." Clay took the vitality potion and drank it immediately, then closed her eyes and slowly restored the dark energy. She rarely expressed gratitude to Qin Yan. But there is no doubt that if anyone dares to hurt Qin Yan, then Clay will make him fully experience what despair is. Check the current status. Qin Yan clicked on Clay's current attributes. After this battle, her health value only dropped by less than 10,000 points. With the terrifying recovery ability of dragon creatures, this injury is nothing. As for the dark energy, it is still 60%. With the help of vitality potions, it will soon be restored to full value. With such a small cost, a barbarian stronghold was captured. After closing the attribute panel, Qin Yan's heart was still restless for a long time. The black dragon is worthy at being a top level 14th level soldier. You know, this is a complete stronghold. Not to mention that it is a barbarian stronghold. Even a small outpost is far beyond the ability of today's players to capture. In the past, at this point in time, players are still having a headache about building territories, and expanding to other territories is almost impossible. But now, on the third day of the server opening, Qin Yan has completely occupied the quiet forest. At the same time, there is a solid hell fortress guarded by the demon army under the continent. And temporary bases have been established in the Dark Swamp and the Maze Mountains. Such achievements, even those players who first landed on the Empire-era continent in the previous life, can only be achieved after at least a few years. And at the time, they definitely cannot have all kinds of high-level arms above level 10 like Qin Yan, not to mention a top-level Black Dragon Queen of level 14 as a guardian. I will build a recovery medicine storehouse for Clay in the future. Thinking of this, Qin Yan felt that he had to take better care of Clay. In addition, after killing thousands of enemies and dozens of Cyclops in a row, Clay also harvested a wave of experience points crazily. Now she has reached 89% of level 21. It won't be long before she can upgrade again. "Master, look." And at this time, Alice suddenly exclaimed. Several dwarves came out. Their exclamation mark dwarves appeared. Qin Yan looked over immediately after hearing this, and then the corners of his mouth couldn't help but curl up slightly. "Finally I found you." It turned out that I don't know if the laser beams fired by the Cyclops before penetrated a mountain wall. The mountain wall collapsed, and then it was no longer a mountain wall. It was a bottomless downward passage. Several short but very strong dwarves. They walked out of the passage slowly. Chapter 130. The fortress in the mountain, worthy of its name. After the mountain wall was pierced by the laser. Slowly walking out of the hidden passage were several dwarf warriors holding single-shot muskets in their hands and wearing dark green cloaks on their backs. Dwarf Musketeer rank. Elite level 7 race. Dwarf level 4 15 attack power. 180 220 defense power. 160 health. 80,000 magic value. 5,000 racial talent. Hammer specialization. Increase strength by 20% when using hammer weapons. Racial talent. Firearms specialization. Increase accuracy by 20% when using firearms. Racial ability. Shrapnel rain. Fires a rain of bullets with explosive fragments, causing damage and slowing down the enemies in the area. Racial ability. Precision lock. Greatly improves accuracy and can also passively increase range. Description. Dwarf musketeers are a powerful dwarf army known throughout the continent. These dwarves who use magical single-shot muskets are excellent warriors and can attack targets in the air and on the ground. For hundreds of years, dwarf musketeers have been protecting their kingdom excellently. Sure enough, they are dwarf musketeers famous throughout the continent. Looking at the dwarf musketeers who slowly walked out of the hidden passage, Qin Yan's eyes were full of admiration. A strong body, plus a finely crafted single-shot musketeer. No matter where they go. These dwarf musketeers bring trust to people. Respected human lord. At this time, several dwarf musketeers had also come to Qin Yan, and then said respectfully, "This barbarian stronghold has always been the target that my dwarves want to attack. In order to express my gratitude to you and your black dragon, the great king of the hills sincerely invites you to visit our dwarf's mountain kingdom." When saying this, several dwarf musketeers looked at Clay at the same time, their eyes full of awe. Obviously, the terrifying power displayed by the Black Dragon Queen has made these brave and warlike dwarves worship her from the bottom of their hearts. At this time, as the dwarves finished speaking, a pleasant system prompt sound suddenly rang in Qin Yan's ears. Ding dong. Congratulations to player Qin Yan. Due to the strong strength you have shown, the attitude of the dwarves towards you has successfully changed to respect. At the same time, the dwarf king, Hill King Magni, intends to initiate an alliance request with you. Please go to the dwarf kingdom to unlock the follow-up progress. It has actually changed to a respectful attitude, and is interested in forming an alliance with me. When the voice came, Qin Yan was immediately overjoyed. One of the purposes of his arrival in the Misty Mountains this time was to subdue the dwarves who have superb forging and construction skills. The result is now following Clay's battle all the way, and then going deeper into the Misty Mountains little by little, and also removing the barbarian strongholds that the dwarves have always wanted to attack, showing enough powerful strength. The entire dwarf tribe has a respectful attitude towards Qin Yan. Even the king of the dwarf tribe has the intention to form an alliance with him. This is completely in line with Qin Yan's original intention. Led the way. Thinking of this, Qin Yan nodded immediately. I have heard that the dwarf tribe's construction technology is amazing, and this opportunity to visit must not be missed. After saying that, Qin Yan took the lead and walked towards the hidden passage. The faces of the dwarf musketeers behind him all showed a proud look, and at the same time, their inner favorability towards the human lord in front of them became stronger and stronger. The hidden passage led all the way to the interior of the mountain. And on the flat ground, countless gems are inlaid on the stone wall, shining brightly like stars in the night sky. Qin Yan has already entered the dwarf mountain kingdom. Fire of Red Lotus. Warhammers collide with each other, releasing high-temperature flames to hurt the enemy. Death penetration. Throw the two-handed hammer at the enemy at the same time, with a certain chance of death. There are also large buildings such as steam fortresses, rune temples and processing workshops, which are also scattered in an orderly manner throughout the country of Wit. If the dwarves had not led the way personally. In the arsenal, muskets and mortars are neatly arranged. A pleasant system sound rang. Ding dong. You have entered a new map, the Dwarf Mountain Kingdom Ionfage. The voice fell. Suddenly, pleasant system sounds rang in Qin Yan's ears one after another. Description. Magni, the king of the hill, is in charge of the entire Ionfage and is the greatest dwarf war king living in the mountain fortress. Master, this is a great force. Coming to Qin Yan, Magni's low voice came. I swear in the name of the king of the dwarves that I will lead my people to fight side by side with your troops and protect the continent together. After a long while, Qin Yan slowly came back to his senses and praised in his heart. But it is not straight down, there are many forks and intersections in the middle. In the mechanical warehouse, there are steam tanks and flying machines that are more than 10 meters in size. Looking around, the entire mountain seems to have been hollowed out by the dwarves. Soon, a dwarf signaled to Qin Yan. The entrance to the kingdom is in front. Dwarves holding war hammers and muskets live and work in peace and contentment. This is the mountain kingdom of the dwarves. Dear human lord, Qin Yan nodded, and a hint of expectation appeared in his eyes. He also wanted to see the capital of pride of the dwarves around him, and also wanted to see how spectacular the dwarf mountain kingdom, which is famous for smelting and architecture, is. A solid fortress hidden inside the mountains. There are actually flying machines on the continent. Those are tanks, my god. Alice beside him exclaimed repeatedly, but finally waved her little fist. The missiles they launched will definitely not catch up with me. Even Clay came to Qin Yan's side. We must subdue them this time. Yeah. Qin Yan nodded. This is also the reason why I insisted on finding the entrance to the dwarf's mountain kingdom. At this time, under the support of a group of dwarves, a dwarf warrior wearing purple-black armor, a bright red cloak on his back, and holding a giant purple-black two-handed hammer in each hand, walked slowly towards Qin Yan. Hill King Magni identity. Legendary boss. Race. Dwarf King. Title. Hill King. Rank. 10th level leader. Level. 30 attack power. 450-500 defense power. 400 health value. 18000 magic value. 40,000 racial talent. Hammer specialization, firearms specialization. Racial ability. Fire blood, red lotus fire, stone breaking, death penetration. Yeah. The dwarves really have the capital to be proud of. Respected human lord. Shocking. Jump high and smash the two-handed hammer to the ground, causing heavy damage in a range. Blood of fire. Dispel negative status and increase agility. Even if someone discovered the hidden passage, they would definitely not be able to truly enter their kingdom. Chapter 131. Behemoths, Dwarf Crisis. Just as Mac finished speaking, suddenly, pleasant system prompt sounded in Qin Yan's ears. Ding dong. Congratulations, player. In view of the powerful strength you have shown, the Dwarf King Hill King Magni has sent you an alliance request! Do you agree? Is there any need to ask this? After Qin Yan obtained the Eternal Gem, he still stayed in the Misty Mountains for these dwarves. Now it is a great thing to be able to form an alliance with them. Agree. At the moment, Qin Yan nodded directly. As soon as the voice fell. Suddenly, the mysterious system power enveloped. Then, under the feet of all the dwarves in front of him, it condensed into a green halo. This represents the establishment of friendly relations. From this moment on, all the dwarves living in the mountain kingdom of Ironforge have become Qin Yan's allies. And the dwarves are different from other races. Dwarves are born loyal and stubborn, and they value friendship and loyalty. If Qin Yan's territory is attacked. After receiving the news, Magni, the king of the hill, led his dwarf army without saying a word and immediately went to the quiet forest to provide assistance to Qin Yan. Of course, Qin Yan was not satisfied with this. If the enemy faced by Valina is extremely terrifying and enough to destroy the entire territory. Qin Yan, even the dwarves who value friendship and loyalty, will still consider giving up the alliance relationship and ensure the continuation of the entire race. Qin Yan had seen it countless times in his previous life. The allies who had vowed to guarantee chose to betray at the critical moment of the crisis. Of course, there is nothing right or wrong about this. In the face of the issue of the survival of the race, the word betrayal has no weight at all. Qin Yan said that he could understand this. But understanding is understanding for others. When it really happens to him, Qin Yan will never allow this situation to happen. The so-called alliance has no weight in his eyes. What Qin Yan really needs is to subdue the entire dwarf tribe. It is not as simple as pulling them into a united front, but to make Magni, the king of the hills, and the Ironforge he built, live and die with Valina. Magni, with the power of the dwarves, they can definitely suppress those barbarians. When Qin Yan thought of this, his face sank immediately. But why did they establish a base in the Misty Mountains? The voice fell. The entire dwarf kingdom suddenly became silent. The previously cheerful and joyful atmosphere suddenly became solemn. If it weren't for the green halo under the feet of the dwarves, others would even think that Qin Yan was declaring war on the dwarves. Magni, you know. Qin Yan didn't think there was anything wrong. As an ally, I have the right to know this. You are right. Magni, the king of the hills, was silent for a while, and finally sighed slightly. Recently, a behemoth suddenly appeared in the Misty Mountains. Behemoth. The strongest unit in the stronghold. So that's it. Qin Yan had heard of its reputation. The behemoth was the most prestigious top unit of the stronghold. It was a terrifying beast with an unimaginable size, muscles as strong as rocks, bones as hard as steel, extremely amazing strength, and extremely agile movements. With the powerful technological power mastered by the dwarves. Facing ordinary barbarian strongholds, the dwarf musketeers and the dwarf warriors who controlled flying machines and steam tanks could definitely destroy them in an instant. But with the addition of the behemoths, the situation changed instantly. The behemoth's huge claws and terrifying speed. Even the dwarves could hardly resist. No wonder those Cyclops dared to establish a barbarian stronghold in the Misty Mountains, where the dwarves built a mountain kingdom. It turned out that the behemoths had joined. In this way, everything made sense. And from this news, Qin Yan also inferred a lot of other information. Since the barbarians sent out powerful behemoths and have established a stronghold in the Misty Mountains, their purpose is likely to come for the dwarves. After all, the wealth of the dwarves is well known on the continent. And this also means if Qin Yan had not come here on clay. These dwarves living in the misty mountains. They were broken by the barbarian army led by the behemoths, and then the dwarves were killed wantonly. It's just a matter of time. Please give me flowers. That's why Magni is so eager to ask for an alliance with me, hoping that I could let clay help them through this crisis. Qin Yan thought. But it's definitely impossible to ask me to be a free fighter. I think my black dragon may be able to defeat those behemoths. Thinking of this, Qin Yan smiled. Clay, what do you think? Roar. As soon as the voice fell, Clay's eyes began to change immediately, and her body expanded rapidly in less than a second. The next moment, a giant black dragon more than 60 meters high soared into the sky, spewing dragon breath towards the sky, and spreading its wings with a dark breath, covering everything below like two dark clouds. Oh, any enemy who dares to block the master's path, Clay will destroy him in fear. Buzz. 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 The voice fell. The extremely strong dragon power spread out from Clay's body. Wherever it passed, the dwarves on the ground all showed a look of fear in their eyes. Even Magni, the king of the dwarves, was moved after feeling the supreme dragon power emanating from Clay's body. Magni, there is no free lunch in the world. Seeing this scene, Qin Yan showed a satisfied smile on his face. If you are willing to lead your people to follow me, I will ensure the continuation of the dwarfs, and let the dwarfs to show their glory again on the continent. Roar. After saying that, Clay, who was hovering in the air, roared again. The endless dragon power was released, sweeping across the entire dwarf mountain kingdom. Master Qin Yan, thank you for your kindness. At this time, Magni in front of him seemed to have made up his mind. After a long sigh, he slowly knelt on one knee towards Qin Yan. I swear in the name of the king of the dwarves that I will lead my people to follow you for life, live and die with you, Lord Qin Yan, and never betray you. The voice fell. Suddenly, pleasant system sounds rang in Qin Yan's ears. Ding dong. The king of the dwarves Magni requested to join your territory. Do you accept it? Ding dong. Since Magni took the initiative to request to join your territory, the dwarves will unconditionally submit to you, and you don't need to worry about other betrayal issues. Chapter 132. Conquering the dwarves. Finally, we can subdue the dwarves. Qin Yan's mouth curled up slightly when he heard the voice. From the very beginning, the main purpose of staying in the Misty Mountains after obtaining the Eternal Gem was to subdue the dwarves and obtain their exquisite forging technology, construction technology, room technology and other unique technologies. There is nothing embarrassing about this. If other people had enough power and learned that there were dwarves living in the Misty Mountains, they would definitely lead their army to attack. In the end, these dwarves would only end up being enslaved. Qin Yan gave Mag a chance to join his territory. Otherwise, there would be no need to wait for the behemoths to take action. Qin Yan only needed to give an order. Clay, the queen of black dragons, would spit out the terrifying black dragon breath, and the entire 170 dwarf kingdoms would be completely burned to ashes. The strength is completely suppressed, and the dwarves are facing a racial crisis. At this moment, Qin Yan was in a good mood. If I don't take this opportunity to subdue the dwarves, I will be a failure of my identity as a reborn person. Accept. So, at that moment, Qin Yan nodded immediately. Buzz. 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 At the moment Qin Yan nodded. Magni in front of him, as well as all the dwarves in the entire mountain kingdom, all burst out with brilliant golden light. As the golden light surged. The light green halo under them disappeared instantly. Instead, there were brilliant golden light circles. This represents the signing of the contract. From this moment on. All the dwarves in front of him became Qin Yan's subordinates. Then, pleasant system sounds rang in his ears one after another. Ding dong. Congratulations to the player, you have successfully obtained the right to occupy the mountain kingdom of the dwarves! Ding dong. Congratulations to the player, you have successfully obtained all the resources owned by the dwarves, as well as all the arms and technologies mastered by the dwarves. The pleasant prompt sounds rang one after another. The next moment, several architectural drawings fell on Qin Yan at the same time. Yan's palm. It was all the architectural drawings that the dwarves currently had. Room temple, steam fortress, processing workshop, mineral exploration institute, etc. Each drawing was complete. And it was shining brightly. In addition to the buildings, dwarf musketeer, dwarf room master, mortar squad, dwarf helicopter, steam tank and other dwarf arms and technologies were all controlled by Qin Yan. In short. From this moment on, all the dwarves in the Misty Mountains became Qin Yan's property. And the dwarves are different from the forest elves. When I conquered the elves in the quiet forest, the elven tribe was just under construction, and many technologies had not yet been developed. At present, they could only produce ordinary arms such as elven archers and druids, and this was also the reason why they could not compete with the orc army at the time. But the dwarves living in the Misty Mountains are different. After the precipitation of time. And under the rule of Magni, the king of the hills. The overall strength of the dwarves is now very good. If it weren't for the fact that the attackers this time were the top-level behemoths in the stronghold, the gap in strength between the two sides was too great. Magni would definitely lead his people to drive those barbarians out of their homes. So what I have to do next is to leave Clay to kill those behemoths. At this moment, Qin Yan's eyes were like torches. In this way, the entire Dwarf Mountain barrier, and even everything in the entire Misty Mountains, will be included in my territory. Roar. Feeling Qin Yan's excitement. Clay, soaring in the air, roared again. Boom. But at this moment, the earth suddenly trembled. Even the entire Misty Mountains shook violently. Lord, it's those behemoths. Hearing the dull noise beside his ears, Magni immediately reported to Qin Yan. They have 5 behemoths and an ancient behemoth as the leader. And it is worth mentioning. At this time, Magni's attitude towards Qin Yan has become extremely respectful. As the king of the dwarves, although he is brave and warlike, he never surrenders to others easily. But Magni also clearly understands in his heart. Now the dwarves want to continue. After decomposing these materials. There is a titan iron ore here. And it seemed that it was not an ordinary black dragon. What? And Qin Yan also said that. What the hell? If the player has a forger who is proficient in forging, then they can resmelt it into a variety of precious equipment and weapons. A top-level black dragon of level 14. The race with the most exquisite forging technology in the entire continent, the dwarfs. And now, my lord. I know. Qin Yan was stunned on the spot when he heard this. As a result, there is now news that there is a titan iron ore vein hidden in the Misty Mountains. The official information clearly records the role and effect of this ore. Although the dwarves had never seen a black dragon in person, they could feel the aura of a king emanating from Clay's dragon might. At this time, Magni saw Qin Yan's inner doubts at all, and he explained to Qin Yan. The reason why these behemoths appeared here is because our dwarves accidentally leaked the news of the titan iron ore when we moved to the Misty Mountains. This aura was even more powerful than that one. Just now, they were conquered by Qin Yan. What the hell? He would ensure the continuation of the dwarf race. He would even let the dwarf race regain its glory on the continent. Moreover, the power that Qin Yan possessed was enough for them to follow him. That is a high level ore that only exists in legends. Qin Yan did not notice the change in Magni's attitude towards him, and his mind was all on the enemy's strength. 5 level 13 behemoths and a level 14 ancient behemoth leader. Swept through the entire barbarian stronghold alone. A lord with both power and ambition. The only way out is to seek Qin Yan's help. Why is there such a strong force gathered in the Misty Mountains? In addition to the legion in the previous barbarian stronghold. How could Magni not be respectful to Qin Yan? He has heard of the titan iron ore. Are they going to turn the entire Misty Mountains upside down? The rarity of titan iron is not reflected in itself. Instead, after players decompose titan iron, they have a chance to decompose a large number of precious materials such as blood jade, autumn stone, sky blue stone, dawn cat's eye stone, imperial citrine, forest jade, bloodstone, sun crystal, shadow crystal, chalcedony, smoky quartz, black jade, earth crystal, water crystal, air crystal and flame crystal. CS Escuchando Western Novela on Canal Distinta Mundo Fanfic Novelas, Significat Lo Descarga and Y Subiran Sinisfuetzot Invitamos Cordialmente Visitar Nuestro Canal. Mundo Fanfic Novelas all encontras la versión original de esta historia y podrás explorar muchas otras novelas de diversos narradores. Te esperamos para sumergirte en un mundo de novelas incredibles. Chapter 133 Titan Iron Ore Vein. So that's how it is. After listening to Magni's explanation, Qin Yan frowned slightly. After a brief exchange, he had a general understanding of the whole story. It turned out that the dwarves did not live here before. When a dwarf went out to explore, he accidentally discovered a titan iron vein hidden here, so Magni led his people to the Misty Mountains, ready to settle down here, and then mine all the titan iron veins bit by bit. But what was unexpected was the people in the stronghold camp got the news for some reason. And this is why the stronghold camp sent the behemoth and a group of barbarians to set up a stronghold in the Misty Mountains. Before the behemoths arrived, the dwarf warriors easily dealt with the jackals. Even if they were huge cyclops, we had a way to kill them. Magni's eyes were full of reluctance. But the speed of the behemoths is too agile, even tracking missiles can't catch up with them. What? They actually developed tracking missiles? 29 awesome exclamation mark. What did you say, Lord question mark? Nothing. Qin Yan waved his hand. Okay, I understand. After these behemoths are dealt with, I will send troops here to Station Alice, help me distribute these recovery potions. Then, Qin Yan took out a lot of recovery potions from the Lord's space, and then handed them all to Alice beside him. If it's not enough, come to me for more. As the name suggests, the effect of the recovery potion is to help soldiers recover from injuries. During the time when Qin Yan led the army to go out for the attack. All production and research in the base camp have never stopped. The recovery potions that are now taken out, as well as the vitality potion that was just given to Clay, are all developed in the research institute. The quantity is also completely innumerable. Thank you for your gift, Lord. Seeing the wounded tribesman recovering immediately after drinking the healing potion, Magni immediately knelt down on one knee in front of Qin Yan, with a look of great respect. Magni is willing to lead the dwarf warriors to fight side by side with you and defeat those behemoths together. Yeah. Qin Yan was about to refuse, but seemed to think of something and nodded very straightforwardly. You guys should also join the battle. Thank you, Lord. Magni expressed his gratitude again, then turned back to the tribe and began to select powerful dwarf warriors to form an elite force. Master, why did you agree to his request? After Magni left, Clay asked Qin Yan in confusion. Although the strength of these dwarves is okay, they are just sending themselves to death in the battle with the behemoths. Indeed. Take the dwarf musketeers for example. A well-equipped and well-numbered dwarf musketeer unit is definitely a nightmare for the same level troops. Even the more powerful high-level troops can show a certain degree of suppression ability. But facing the top-level ace troops of the stronghold camp, the behemoths. The previous advantages are completely gone. Their fate is to be torn into pieces by the behemoths one by one. Just as Clay said. Clay, let's go. Suddenly, an endless dark energy storm emerged. If it weren't for the dwarves' exquisite construction technology, it would have collapsed long ago. Okay, Master. But so what? Feeling the subtle changes in Clay's temperament, Qin Yan couldn't help but smile with satisfaction. The dwarf elite troops have almost assembled. Let's prepare for battle. 53. Qin Yan ordered while riding on Clay. Yeah, roar. He was able to see the ancient behemoth of the same level 14 with his own eyes. Let's go, kill them all. Bang. 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 In time, she will surely become an existence that shocks the entire continent. Under the subtle influence of Qin Yan, Clay is growing step by step towards a real black dragon girl. After a long while, Clay slowly nodded, and her eyes never left Qin Yan from beginning to end. Clay will protect you for life, become the sharp blade in your hand, and kill all enemies who come to attack. The entire Misty Mountains were shaken by this. Even the mountain kingdom of the dwarves had hideous cracks everywhere. The next moment, a huge black dragon with a body size of at least 60 meters and covered with hard scales appeared in the dark storm. Similarly, Clay also seemed impatient. Master, leave it to me, I will kill them all. To be honest, this was something Qin Yan had been looking forward to for a long time. And he was about to fight with it. After saying that, Clay flapped her wings, and her huge black dragon body soared into the sky. There was no fear in his eyes, but on the contrary, he was extremely excited. This change is not reflected in speed, size or dark energy like blood awakening. Master, I understand. At this moment, Clay's temperament changed again. This is no different from letting them die. I've long wanted to fight some powerful guys. It's also the life principle that he follows. At this moment, dull noises came again. It is a change in state of mind. This shows that the power of the behemoths is beyond compare. Qin Yan's voice had just fallen. Of course I know that they are much weaker than the behemoths, but there is one thing you have to remember, Clay. The dwarves are not a cowardly race. Seeing the puzzled look on Clay's face, Qin Yan smiled at first, and then said solemnly. Although they are not strong enough, it does not affect their fighting. Moreover, the corpses of their companions and the blood of their tribesmen flowing on the ground will further arouse their hatred, thus showing stronger strength. It is not impossible for them to advance directly in the battle. In addition, if I don't let them fight this time and don't let them take revenge on the enemy with blood, the morale of the entire dwarf tribe will be affected in the future. Then, Qin Yan added again. Morale. Blood. Even if some people will sacrifice, we must never let a race lose the blood in their blood. Qin Yan's words were sonorous and powerful. And he did not show any pause or hesitation. It was as if these words had already been imprinted in his blood. It is not just what Qin Yan wants the dwarves to do. Boom. 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 Chapter 134. Battle Awakening, Field Shuttle. Boom. Arrived outside the mountain kingdom. 5 behemoths suddenly appeared inside. Their fur was brown and their body was at least 20 meters tall. The muscles in their arms bulged high. Every punch could smash part of the mountain into pieces. And their speed was also extremely agile. They were obviously huge monsters as big as a hill, but their movements were like crazy monkeys jumping around, even leaving a faint shadow in the air. The speed was so fast that it was unimaginable. Master, leave it to me. Clay was still calm. Putting Qin Yan on the top of the cliff, Clay's huge black dragon body soared into the sky, and then flew towards the behemoths with terrifying pressure. At the same time, the dwarf elite troops also rushed out of the mountain kingdom. Assemble! Revenge for the people! Guard the Lord. The dwarf musketeers had loaded their ammunition. The giant hammers in the hands of the dwarf warriors collided with each other, sparking flames. Flying machines hovered in the air, and missiles were ready to go. Steam tanks slowly moved forward, destroying everything in their way. At this moment, all the dwarf's blood was boiling. Charge! Accompanied by a thunderous roar, the entire dwarf army launched a charge. Their target was these behemoths. Boom! The war was about to break out. Bang! 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 Fast, too fast. It only took a few seconds. Before the dwarves' charge momentum had gathered, these behemoths had already rushed into their team and waved their arms randomly. With each blow, a large group of dwarf warriors were smashed into meat paste. Even the sturdy steam tanks could not withstand their claws. It was torn into pieces in a short while. It is worthy of being the ace of the stronghold camp. The scene in front of him was like King Kong in the movie. And Qin Yan experienced it personally. This feeling was even more shocking. But just as Qin Yan was sighing, a shocking dragon roar came from his ears. The terrifying black dragon, which was 60 meters long, spread its huge wings and flew across the sky. It bit down in the air with its bloody mouth and bit the head of the behemoth. The latter stretched out its strong arms and smashed towards Clay's head, trying to break free. But how could Clay let it escape? Crack! The bloody mouth tore violently. The huge head of the behemoth was actually bitten off by Clay on the spot. Boom! The remaining torso of the behemoth fell heavily. Blood spurted out from the neck, forming a gorgeous blood mist. The air was suddenly filled with a strong smell of blood. Woo! But the blood of their companions did not make the remaining behemoths feel fearful. On the contrary, their eyes were red, and they all used their blood-red claws to attack Clay madly. However, Clay was faster than them. Roar! After spewing out a breath of black flame dragon breath downwards, Clay directly transformed into a dragon princess in midair, and then fell from the sky. The dragon spear in her hand directly pierced through the head of behemoth and nailed it to the mountain wall. Facing the behemoth beast of similar grade. Clay still showed irresistible suppression. But at this moment, she suddenly sensed a hint of danger and quickly jumped away. Boom! Sure enough, at the moment when Clay dodged, a pale-haired beast about 30 meters tall fell from the sky, and its sharp claws directly pierced the ground where Clay was standing before. Ancient behemoth. A true top-level creature of the 14th level. It is the most powerful person in the stronghold. Bang! 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 In just a few seconds. Clay, in the form of Dragon Princess, fought with this ancient behemoth dozens of times. Both sides completely turned into after-images. Wherever they passed, only dark energy could be seen surging. Puff! Blood splashed, and a huge behemoth claw flew up, but in mid-air, it was directly corroded and decomposed by dark energy. Roar! But despite being seriously injured, the ancient behemoth still had red eyes and used another claw to grab Clay. And Qin Yan also noticed there was a faint red light on the behemoth claw. This is the defense-breaking effect. Qin Yan had heard in his previous life that the more seriously injured the behemoth was, the more terrible that damage it caused. When their life dropped below the critical value, they would launch a fatal attack on the target. This attack can ignore 80% of the target's defense. Obviously, this claw of the ancient behemoth was a fatal attack. Buzz, buzz, buzz. But at this moment, endless dark energy suddenly burst out from Clay's body, and in an instant, it spread to hundreds of meters away. Wrapped in dark energy, people can only feel the energy surge, but cannot see what is happening inside. But at this time, Qin Yan, standing on the top of the cliff, suddenly widened his eyes. Because at the moment when the dark domain burst out from Clay's body, a pleasant system prompt sounded in his ears. Ding dong. Congratulations to the player, your Black Dragon awakened a powerful racial ability in the battle, Domain Shuttle. Domain Shuttle. You can freely shuttle in the dark domain. Awakened in battle again. The voice came, making Qin Yan open his mouth slightly. Before in the furnace dungeon, Clay also completed the Blood Awakening in the process of killing many evil orcs. Unexpectedly, now fighting with the ancient behemoth, Clay actually awakened the racial ability in the battle. And it can actually allow Clay to freely shuttle through the Dark Realm. Good. To be honest, this is simply a very cool thing. By the way, speaking of the ancient behemoth. Then, Qin Yan looked down again. After Clay awakens the realm shuttle skill, she should be able to dodge the last death blow just now, right? Bang. Just at this moment, a dull loud noise came. Then, the dark realm dissipated. Clay slowly appeared in sight. Behind her, the ancient behemoth had stretched out its claws to launch the last attack before death was directly pierced through the entire head by the black flame dragon spear from bottom to top, and was nailed to the mountain wall. The power was so great that countless spiderweb-like cracks could be seen spreading all over the mountain wall. The pierced ancient behemoth was already dead. Ding dong. Congratulations to the player, your black dragon has successfully killed ancient behemoth. Ding dong. Congratulations to the player, the black dragon level has been upgraded. Chapter 135. Invincible, sweeping the entire venue. The black dragon queen is indeed invincible. Qin Yan looked at the ancient behemoth nailed to the mountain wall by the black flame dragon spear, his eyes full of shock. You have to know that this is also a top level 14th level soldier. Moreover, it is extremely powerful, with sharp claws that are inherently capable of breaking the defense of high defense soldiers, and the damage is directly proportional to the target's defense attribute. What's more, the level of this behemoth is even higher than Clay. But what is the result? In this case, Clay still suppressed it. The battle time will not exceed 1 minute. It is simply a one-sided massacre. Massacre a top-level soldier in the stronghold camp, a 14th level behemoth. Such a record would be enough to shock the world in the previous life. Roar. After killing this ancient behemoth, Clay did not intend to stop fighting. Accompanied by a shocking roar. The extremely dense and terrifying dark energy storm surged out of her body again, and in an instant, it completely enveloped the surrounding area within a few hundred meters. The remaining 4 behemoths that were slaughtering the dwarf troops were instantly covered by the dark domain. 163. Swish. The next moment, Clay's body disappeared directly on the spot. Then she turned into a dark demon and shuttled freely in the dark domain. Puff. 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 One shot, one, clean and neat. In less than 10 seconds. The heads of the remaining 4 behemoths flew high. But in midair, they were directly corroded by the dark energy. The remaining torso. It also decayed rapidly at a speed visible to the naked eye during the process of falling. It has completely lost its vitality. The battle was a one-sided massacre. Master. At this time, the dark domain dissipated, and Clay reappeared in sight. The fierce battle in a short period of time made her forehead hair soaked with sweat. But compared to the dead behemoths, this is nothing. Clay has fulfilled her mission. Clay half knelt in front of Qin Yan. All behemoths have been killed. Roar. Clay's voice fell. Suddenly, all the dwarf warriors on the ground raised their weapons and cheered. They looked extremely embarrassed. All their bodies were covered with hideous wounds left by the strong wind when the behemoth's claws swept over them. After all, the pressure brought to them by the behemoth was too terrifying. Other high-level soldiers were okay. But the unreasonable and terrifying speed of the behemoth. It was really impossible for the dwarves to resist. So more dwarves were already lying in a pool of blood. But despite this. The moment the behemoths fell down. All the dwarves still raised their weapons. The sacrifice of the tribesmen was for the continuation of the entire race. Being able to fight side by side with such a powerful black dragon queen. Being able to follow a supreme lord with such power. Supreme Lord. When they thought of this, all the surviving dwarves present, led by Magni, the king of the hill, and all the dwarves who came out of the mountain kingdom, knelt down in front of Qin Yan, expressing their absolute loyalty to Qin Yan. We're willing to follow you forever, kill all enemies who dare to invade you, and never betray you for the rest of our lives! Follow, for life, never betray. The roar of the dwarves was sonorous and powerful, resounding throughout the misty mountains. At this moment, being able to experience it for Qin Yan has become the supreme honor of the dwarves. Just at this moment. A pleasant system sound rang in Qin Yan's ears. Ding dong. Congratulations to the player for obtaining the only golden title, Dwarf King. The moment the system sound ran. An inexplicable force suddenly descended on Qin Yan. And quickly merged with Qin Yan. Qin Yan, standing on the top of the cliff, suddenly emitted a dazzling light in his body. As the golden light surged, a golden shield symbol fell on his left shoulder armor. This is the blessing of the Dwarf King. The moment the system sound rang, the noble identity of the Dwarf King had already been combined with Qin Yan's fate. All the dwarves on the continent of the Empire era will hold Qin Yan in absolute respect. Afterwards, Qin Yan immediately checked the attributes of the title. Title: Dwarf King, Golden only, attribute bonus. Defensor plus 20 level. Skill bonus: Dwarf King Shield. When the player uses shield equipment, the equipment defensor increases by 0%. In other words, after Qin Yan obtains it, no one else is qualified to obtain it again. At level 20, it is a full 400 points. The giant warhammer in his hand also rose with his arm and flew straight into the sky. When using a shield, the defensor bonus provided by the equipment can be increased by a full 3 times on the original basis. But the real supreme treasure is definitely in the hands of the dwarves. But at the moment when the giant warhammer flew up, ding dong, your subordinate Magni is using the power of the Dwarven heritage to summon the Dwarven treasure. And in addition, closing the title attribute panel, Qin Yan couldn't help but sigh in his heart. The Dwarf King title increases defensor by 3 times. As we all know, after reading the attribute bonus of the Dwarf King title, Qin Yan only had this word in his mind. The earth suddenly trembled, and the surrounding mountain walls also appeared spiderweb-like cracks at a speed visible to the naked eye, as if they could collapse directly at any time. Under the same quality and level, the defensor bonus provided by shield equipment to players is the most powerful. 200 points at level 10. Magni suddenly raised his arm high. Everyone on the continent knows that in terms of gold coin reserves, the greedy Dragon clan may be better. And without waiting for Qin Yan to reply, Supreme Lord, rumble. And at this time, I don't know if it was influenced by Qin Yan's title of Dwarf King, Magni's eyes looking at Qin Yan became more and more fiery. You are really the supreme king of my dwarf clan. To be honest, it's just wonderful. But, just when Qin Yan was surprised, the pleasant system sound rang in his ears. The feeling of mastering 4 unique golden titles at the same time. Strong. And the Dwarf King is also the only golden title. The Dwarven treasure. And now. First of all, each level up can increase the defensor attribute by 20 points. The mountains collapsed and the ground cracked, and sand and rocks flew. From now on, I will be a piece of iron. Just at this time, a terrifying light appeared. This is the Dwarven treasure. When the voice came, Qin Yan was slightly stunned at first, and then a look of joy appeared in his eyes. Chapter 136. Intermediate Artifact, Ashbringer. Buzz. Just at this moment, a terrifying light appeared. The hammer thrown by Magni actually directly cut through the sky. Then, a dazzling golden light burst out from it. This beam of light covered everything. The golden light was extremely shining, but it also contained an ancient atmosphere. This is the treasure house of the dwarves. The supreme treasures collected by the dwarves for generations are all stored in it. It can be said to be the most precious treasure of the dwarves. Finally, a huge red gold crystal appeared in the air. Holy Light Crystal Attribute. One of the forging materials for the god-level weapon Ashbringer. Description: the crystal purified by the believers of Holy Light by Magni, the King of the Hill, is an extremely precious god-level forging material. Can it be used to forge god-level weapons? After checking the properties of the crystal, Qin Yan was stunned on the spot. He never thought that the treasure that Magni summoned from the dwarf treasury would be such a precious treasure. This is a god-level forging material. It can even be used to forge god-level weapons. Could it be? At this time, Qin Yan suddenly looked stunned, as if he thought of something. No way? Supreme Lord. But at this time, Magni, who was originally motionless, suddenly jumped up. In the name of Magni, the King of the Hill, I am here to create a special weapon for you. The voice fell. The giant hammer held by Magni again suddenly burst out with an extremely dazzling hot light. Then, under the shocked eyes of everyone, Magni directly swung the giant hammer and hit the crystal hard. Clang. 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 The sharp sound of metal collision rang out one after another. In a short moment, Magni smashed countless times. Is this the legendary chaotic cloak hammer method? Of course, Qin Yan's eyes were more focused on the huge golden crystal suspended in the air. The red gold crystal looked extremely crisp, but it was unexpectedly hard. But under Magni's continuous hammering, the shape of the red crystal gradually changed. Its shape seemed to be a sharp sword. Is this really going to make a god-level weapon for me? Seeing this scene, Qin Yan's heart was suddenly full of expectations. This is a god-level weapon. Although Qin Yan already has the artifact of the Pluto ring in his hand, who would refuse to have more artifacts? The more the better. and after killing the former Lord of the Abyss in the Hellfire Peninsula, Qin Yan is now equipped with an orange suit. Then he was blessed with the golden title of the Dwarf King. Qin Yan's current defensive ability can only be described as terrifying. And if Magni is going to make a god-level weapon for me now, Qin Yan, then my damage will also be greatly enhanced, and I will become a powerful existence with both offensive and defensive capabilities. Clang. Just at this moment, with an amazing crisp sound, Magni, holding a giant warhammer, finally landed heavily. In the air, the red gold crystal has disappeared. In its place, there is a golden giant sword. Ashitbringer equipment level. Intermediate artifact, advanced, equipment part. Weapon. Attack. Plus 1200 strength. Plus 511 constitution. Plus 755 additional effect. Flame blade impact. The attack will impact the target, causing fire damage to it. This effect will be greatly enhanced after obtaining the flame relic. Additional skill. Ash Awakening. Invoke the holy light energy contained in the sword body, causing a devastating blow to enemies in the area. Inlay groove. Flame relic, light relic. Advanced requirement, required level. No level limit. Equipment characteristics. Uniqueness. When a player has equipped it, other players cannot obtain it again. At the same time, it is bound after equipment and cannot be dropped. Description. Only the Supreme Lords are qualified to wear this artifact. After the Flame Relic and the Light Relic are inlaid, the artifact level will be upgraded and additional functions will be unlocked. When it is upgraded to the Supreme Artifact, the player can release flames full of sacred energy when attacking, causing heavy blows to the undead creatures. Qin Yan's strength and physical attributes began to surge instantly. Magni looked at Qin Yan, but his eyes were still full of passion. It is Magni's supreme honor to be able to create a special weapon for you. Suddenly, another pleasant system sound rang in my ears. Ashitbringer provides a full 1200 attack power bonus. That is to say. And at this moment, he was not frustrated by this. On the contrary, Qin Yan was more excited. If Magni knew the location of the Holy Relic of Fire and the Holy Relic of Light on the continent, Qin Yan would have provided clues without asking. This is the power of the artifact. And this is not the peak of this artifact. Lord, you are too kind. Qin Yan nodded without hesitation. Okay, I know. Accompanied by the pleasant system sound. At this moment, Qin Yan's eyes were bright. If I want to upgrade the Ashbringer to the Supreme Artifact, I still need to explore it myself bit by bit! Ding dong. Congratulations, you have successfully equipped the Intermediate Artifact. Ashitbringer. This force was filled with the breath of fire. At the same time. Afterwards, under the gaze of everyone, a crisp sound came faintly from the sword of the Ashbringer. It is more than twice the 500 attack power bonus provided by the Blood Raw Orange Battle Axe in the Lord Qin Yan's space. After a while, Qin Yan gradually adapted to the changes brought by the mid-level artifact, and then stepped forward to help Magni, who was sweating and panting. I'm very satisfied with this weapon. An extremely powerful force surged into Qin Yan's body. In the future, after Qin Yan inlays it with the Flame Relic and the Light Relic, the level of the artifact can be upgraded. But the golden giant sword suspended in the air turned into a dazzling golden stream of light and fell directly into Qin Yan's hands. It is really an artifact. At the same time, it possessed the power of light and holiness. Then Magni introduced the advancement requirements of Ashbringer to Qin Yan. When you obtain the Holy Relic of Fire and the Holy Relic of Light, it can automatically complete the advancement. Thank you for your hard work, Magni. The attribute bonus, additional effects, additional skills, etc. will be provided at the time. At this time, it seemed to sense the presence of Qin Yan. Ashbringer, all the undead under your feet will turn into ashes. All will be greatly increased again. Lord, this weapon can carry the power of fire and holy light at the same time. Chapter 137. Territory level, upgraded again. Just when Qin Yan sighed inwardly. Suddenly another pleasant system prompt sounded in his ears. Ding dong. Congratulations, your subordinates have successfully occupied the Dark Swamp map. Qin Yan's mouth curled up slightly when the voice came. At the time, he wrote play and went to the Misty Mountains with Trisna to find the Eternal Gem. The task assigned to Solitaire and Luminous was to lead the army to attack the Dark Swamp during this period. But originally, according to my estimation, considering the huge area of the Dark Swamp map and the number of monsters living in it, Qin Yan thought to himself, Even if Solitaire and Luminous work together, it should take a long time to completely conquer the Dark Swamp. But now Qin Yan has only been in the Misty Mountains for less than half a day. As a result, the news came that the Dark Swamp has been conquered. They are indeed two powerful vampire ancestors. The area of the Dark Swamp is at least more than 3,000 square kilometers, right? Thinking of this, Qin Yan immediately clicked on the territory upgrade interface. All of the territory's conditions were immediately displayed before his eyes. Territory upgrade. Territory name: Valina. Current level: large village. Next level: primary town. Territory area: 0.751200 square kilometers, already satisfied. Territory resources: satisfied. Territory buildings: satisfied. Territory population: 79320880000. Soon to be satisfied. Oh my god. It's going to be upgraded to town level soon. After checking the upgrade interface, Qin Yan couldn't help but sigh inwardly. He still remembered that when he first came to the Misty Mountains, the territory area and population were a certain distance away from the town level. Who would have thought of the result? In just a few hours, the Dark Swamp was attacked by two vampire progenitors. The dwarves living in the Misty Mountains were also attacked by Qin Yan. Yan conquered. The entire Dwarf Mountain Kingdom was included in the territory, and the dwarves living in it were all counted into the total population of the territory. It was only the last step away from upgrading the territory to the town level. This was undoubtedly a gratifying thing. After the territory was upgraded to the town level, players could unlock various high-level technologies of the human race, such as griffin cages, restaurants, harbors, and Hall of Valor. Qin Yan recalled the memories of his previous life. In addition, high-level arms such as lancers, holy priests, outstanding swordsmen, and griffin knights could also be unlocked. In short, in one sentence, if the player can upgrade the territory to the town level, the comprehensive strength of the territory will change dramatically, and it will be easy to attack other players' low-level territories. Of course, the premise is that you have enough resources in your hands. The resources here are not just gold coins. As soon as the voice fell, this will also become another strategic fortress under Qin Yan's command. No matter when, architectural blueprints are king. Just at this time, a pleasant system sound rang in his ears. In their eyes, it was because Qin Yan cast an unknown magic that the damage just now was repaired, but Qin Yan knew. Qin Yan thought to himself, when there is an emergency on the continent in the future, I will be able to dispatch enough troops to deal with it. Of course, this is not Qin Yan's ultimate goal. In order to build an indestructible and invincible empire, he not only needs forest fortresses, hell fortresses and mountain fortresses, but also sea fortresses and cloud fortresses, etc. Which are all the power that Qin Yan needs to master in 3.8. Moreover, judging from the attribute panel of the Yash artifact just now, it seems that there are endless undead armies hidden in the continent of the Empire Age. Expansion strategy: keep getting stronger. Only by continuously expanding the area of the territory, strengthening the army strength of the territory, and the reserves of various precious resources can we ensure that any enemy we will encounter will be defeated. Rebirth and landing on the continent of the Empire Age. Qin Yan's goal is to become the supreme overlord of the new era. Boom. And at this moment, the sky of the entire Empire Age continent suddenly shook. Ding dong. All server announcement. Congratulations to player Qin Yan, becoming the first player in Age of Empires to upgrade the territory to the town level. Congratulations on your acquisition. More should be reflected in the architectural drawings. So, luck is also a part of strength. Qin Yan nodded immediately without any hesitation. Wherever it passed, the damage caused by the previous battle began to be repaired at a speed visible to the naked eye. In just 10 seconds, the entire Dwarf Mountain barrier was intact again. Rumble. Magni, you'll lead your people to continue living here, try to seize the time to train a larger army, and then occupy the entire Misty Mountains. The more amazing change happened in the Quiet Forest. The Forest Fortress, the Hill Fortress, and the current Mountain Fortress. If you are lucky, after you upgrade your territory to town level, you can capture a few monster nests or complete a few tasks, and you can continuously obtain advanced architectural blueprints, thus becoming the absolute king of the same period. Seeing this scene, all the dwarves knelt on the ground again. The restoration of the Dwarf Mountain Fortress is nothing. Qin Yan will not force them to change their lifestyle. I already have 3 solid strategic strongholds on the continent of the Empire era. And there is nothing wrong with this. Immediately upgrade the level. With the amazing technology mastered by the dwarves, it won't be long before the entire Garden Mountain range will be completely owned by Qin Yan's lord. But if the player is unlucky, Yes, Lord. Boom. 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 When Qin Yan was reborn and landed in the Empire era, the first benefit he received was related to his luck value. No matter when, he would be at the forefront of the team. Their eyes looking at Qin Yan became more and more fiery. Ding dong. It is detected that the player's current territory has met the upgrade conditions. The earth trembled, and the sky and the earth lost their color. Maybe even if your territory is upgraded to town level, you still can't get architectural blueprints, then you are still just a little brother in front of other players. Then, an invisible mysterious force swept through. But it just so happens that dwarves are more accustomed to living in the mountains. When he thought of this, Qin Yan immediately ordered, "Of course, I will also send troops to station here. Do you want to upgrade the territory level immediately?" Chapter 138. A brand new elite legion. Ding dong. Server-wide announcement. Congratulations to player Qin Yan for becoming the first player in Age of Empires to upgrade his territory to town level! Congratulations on winning Exquisite Gift Pack 1. The server-wide announcement was broadcast 3 times in succession, resounding throughout the entire Age of Empires continent. Then, a gift pack appeared in Qin Yan's Lord space. The gift pack shone with brilliant golden light, making people feel relaxed and happy. Exquisite Gift Pack Attribute. A precious gift pack containing complete high-level blueprints, which can help you quickly build a powerful elite force. It's actually a high-level blueprint gift pack. After checking the attributes, Qin Yan was immediately delighted. He was still thinking just now. Perhaps only by waiting until tomorrow to buy the mysterious lucky bag in the Lord Mall, the team will have a chance to get the high-level blueprint. In this way, advanced technology can be unlocked bit by bit. But who would have thought? The system now directly rewards exquisite gift packs. This undoubtedly helps me save a lot of time. With a slight smile, Qin Yan slowly said, "Open the gift package immediately." Ding dong. Congratulations on obtaining the complete building blueprints, Griffin Cage 1! Ding dong. Congratulations on obtaining the complete building blueprints, Hall of Glory 1! Ding dong. Congratulations on obtaining the complete building blueprints, Mysterious Holy Land 1. As soon as the voice fell, several building blueprints appeared in Qin Yan's palm. It was the high-level building blueprints in the human technology tree. Landing in advance, there are indeed many benefits. Pulling a few building blueprints in his palm, Qin Yan couldn't help but feel in a good mood. Then, after he settled the dwarves, he immediately rode play and took Alice to fly towards Valhalla. Not long after, the huge black dragon body appeared over Valhalla. "Master, does this area belong to your territory?" Looking at the orderly and prosperous scene below, Alice couldn't help flying up and down in the air, and exclaimed, "It's worthy of being Lord Qin Yan! Everyone will be very happy to see you." A burst of laughter. Finally, the huge black dragon body landed smoothly on the open space outside the Lord's castle. "Welcome to the Lord! Welcome to the Lord!" As soon as Qin Yan landed, the residents who had already knelt on the ground immediately greeted him in unison. Although Qin Yan did not often patrol the territory, his status among the residents was still like a god. "Well, get up." After nodding, Qin Yan took out several architectural drawings from the Lord's space, and then ordered the workers to start building at the designated location. Boom. As soon as the voice fell, a big earthquake broke out. One huge building after another rose from the ground in front of them. After Valhalla was upgraded to town level, the building level was automatically upgraded to legendary level. Not only the building function was improved, but also that building scale and sturdiness were greatly increased. The buildings that the migrant workers are currently building. There are other buildings in the territory, all of which are at least more than 10 meters high. The surface of Qin Yan's Lord's castle is covered with a layer of spiked shell. It is conceivable how sturdy the buildings are. At this time, pleasant system sounds rang in my ears one after another. Ding dong. The Griffin Cage has been built! Ding dong. The Hall of Glory has been built! Ding dong. The Mysterious Holy Land has been built. Then the properties of each building were automatically displayed in front of Qin Yan. Griffin Cage building level. Legendary. Basic functions. Dragon Eagle Knight plus 240, Griffin Knight plus 240, Claw Polishing plus 200, Tough Body plus 180 additional functions. Blood Surge. There is a chance to be promoted to the elite level. Additional function triggered by the god level talent of the Chosen Son. Description. It can provide you with an Air Force Knight group with amazing lethality. Combat power rating plus 6000, Dragon Eagle Knight exclusive skills. Air Shackles. Imprison the target so that it cannot move. Griffin Knight exclusive skills. Storm Hammer. Attacks will be ricocheted between enemies. Hall of Glory building level. Legendary. Basic functions. Bright Knight plus 200, Outstanding Swordsman plus 200, Jedi Charge plus 140, Blade Cutting plus 180. Additional functions. Spike Rebound. When attacked, there is a chance to fully rebound the damage in the form of magic. Extra function triggered by the god level talent of the Chosen Son. Description. It can provide you with elite guards, including lancers and swordsmen. Combat power rating plus 8000, Knight of Light exclusive skill. Armor Aura. Provide armor bonus for friendly units around you. Exclusive skill. Holy Shield. Add light shield to friendly units. Outstanding Swordsman exclusive skill. Dual Dance. Provide attack bonus for friendly units around you. Exclusive skill. Judgment Trial. Launch Judgment Strike on the target. Mysterious Holy Land building level. Legendary. Basic function. Holy Priest plus 240, Magic Witch plus 160, Healing Heart plus 220, Magic Mastery plus 220. Extra function. Morale encouragement. When priests and witches are present, they can effectively improve the morale of the army. Extra function triggered by the god level talent of the Chosen Son. Description. It can provide you with Holy Priest Core and Magic Witch Core, which can comprehensively improve the combat power of the army. Combat power rating plus 10,000, Holy Priest exclusive skill. Holy Light. Healing of friendly units. Exclusive skill. Light Dispel. Dispel negative magic for friendly units. Magic Witch exclusive skill. Brilliant 360 Aura. Increase the magic recovery speed of nearby friendly units. Exclusive skill. Magic Storm. Summon group damage magic in the target area. The above are the functions of various buildings in Qin Yan's hands. It is also the army that players are qualified to produce after upgrading their territory to the town level. The Air Force has Dragon Eagles and Griffin Knights. For the ground army, the Knights of Light charge, the Holy Priests provide treatment in the rear, the Magic Witches can release magic storms in the distance, and the Outstanding Swordsmen ensure the safety of the back row output. Compared with the initial military strength of the player's territory, this is a complete change. Closing the attribute panel, Qin Yan couldn't help but sigh in his heart. This is the importance of the player's territory level. Only by continuously developing and building the territory can you have the qualifications to survive in the end times. At this time, as the various buildings were completed, the swordsmen and knights in heavy armor, as well as the priests and witches in exquisite robes, all came to Qin Yan. Your subordinates greet the Lord! Your subordinates greet the Lord! Everyone's voice was sonorous and powerful, expressing their absolute loyalty to Qin Yan. Well, very good. Qin Yan nodded, feeling relieved, but then he seemed to think of something and asked, "By the way, you should not have a name yet, right?" Chapter 139 Awakening and Evolution, King Arthur. Reply to the Lord. After Qin Yan asked, everyone immediately replied, "We are all your property, and we don't have a name yet. That's good." Nodding, Qin Yan began to think. The position of the leader of the Holy Priest team can be given to Weena. As a priestess, she is the best choice to lead the priest team. For the Griffin and Dragon Eagle Air Force Knights, Brittany can lead them first, and then let Alice be her deputy after she grows up. The rest of the Knights of Light, the Outstanding Swordsman Army and the Magic Witches, which means I still need 3 commanders to help me manage the army. Qin Yan needs subordinates to help manage the army. In the future siege battles, as the Lord, he will mainly grasp the entire battle situation and dispatch each unit to the corresponding position to deal with various emergencies. It is impossible for Qin Yan to command everything. In this way, he will be very tired, and there may be mistakes. So the real running on the battlefield depends mainly on the commander of each unit. Thinking of this, Qin Yan immediately came to the Knights of Light. Lord. The woman standing at the front of the knights knelt on one knee. Qin Yan nodded, and then slowly said, "In the name of the Lord of Elena, I give you the name of Artoria and the position of Commander of the Knights of Light." But. As the voice fell. Suddenly, Qin Yan was in front of him. The woman Yan called Altria burst out with endless brilliant golden light. As the golden light surged, Altria's breath suddenly surged at a speed visible to the naked eye. The ordinary longsword in her hand, which was originally dull, also turned into a golden holy sword shining with brilliant light, exuding an amazing sacred breath at all times. At the same time, Altria's appearance also changed. She became a woman with skin as white as snow, with golden hair and a pair of green eyes, and a face that was very pretty without makeup. The changes before and after were like turning the world upside down. Ding dong. Congratulations to the player, in the process of giving Altria successfully awakened as King Arthur! Supreme Lord. Altria's words were sonorous and powerful. Altria is willing to sacrifice her life for you, be loyal to you forever, and kill all dark and evil things for you! Very good. The powerful breath emitted by Altria made Qin Yan very satisfied. I believe you will definitely not let me down. Then, Qin Yan no longer hesitated. He came to the front of the outstanding swordsman and the magic witch team in turn, and then said the names he had thought of in his heart. In the name of the Lord of Vailina, I give you the name of Asuna, and grant you the position of the commander of the outstanding swordsman army! In the name of the Lord of Vailina, I give you the name Wimble, and grant you the position of the commander of the magic witch group. But. The voice fell. Suddenly, the two women in front of him burst out with endless brilliant golden light at the same time. As the golden light surged, the breath in their bodies began to surge rapidly, and their appearance began to change amazingly. Asuna wore a grey-white top and a red short skirt, with a dark red cloak on her back, giving people a heroic feeling. Imla has a dreamy silver hair, snow-like skin, charming blue-purple pupils and elf-like pointed ears, which makes people want to protect her very much. Supreme Lord. Then, the two of them knelt on one knee at the same time. It is our supreme honor to be able to bathe in your glory. At the same time, Brittany, Ina and Alice, who were appointed by Qin Yan, looked at Qin Yan with endless enthusiasm. Yeah. Qin Yan nodded. Get up, yes. After everyone agreed, they immediately started training. I believe that it won't take long before these newly produced soldiers will completely become a new elite legion of the human race. After a round of multiplayer landlocked, as soon as he sat on the throne, the well-behaved and sensible Trisna immediately came behind Qin Yan to massage him, and the delicate elf girls in the hall also came forward to express their concern. Soon Qin Yan looked at the elf girls in the hall. They wore natural wreaths on their heads and natural gauze specially made by the elves. They were so beautiful that it was unbelievable. Master, you've worked hard. Ahem. Trisna's beautiful cheeks flushed with excitement. Territory teleport. But it was obvious that the goddess of nature, Trisna, was better. Qin Yan hugged Trisna's soft and slender waist. Take me to the forest for a tour. Hey, need to get familiar with the new commander-in-chief in the shortest time and assist in fighting with other teams, so as to ensure that the army can exert its strongest strength and ensure the absolute safety of Vailina. Moreover, Qin Yan has a piece of information in his hands. Tell the truth. Naming subordinates can improve their overall strength, but it requires the player's spirit. This kind of energy is not like magic value, which can be restored by drinking magic potions. Let's go. Now the overall combat power of the elf tribe has reached an unprecedented height. The current forest elf army can be said to be the most powerful military force in Qin Yan's hands at this stage. Looking at the hot scene in full swing in the territory, Qin Yan was very pleased. Qin Yan breathed a sigh of satisfaction. Such a day is really not something that even gods would change. In the hall, all the elves looked at Qin Yan with admiration and excitement. That was their lord, and the only elf king of the entire forest elves. They felt extremely honored to be able to follow such a lord. Then, Qin Yan twisted the Pluto ring. As for the method of recovery. And to be honest, he was indeed a little tired after naming his subordinates one after another. Your Majesty the Great Elf King! Her. A comfortable and soft throne, a warm fireplace, a crystal-like dreamy chandelier, and so many hot elf maids wearing only gauze to serve. Qin Yan stood up from the throne. I'll go take a bath. Then, Trisna reported to Qin Yan. During the time you were away from the territory, the Eternal Use has been built. If I remember correctly, in the middle period of the development of the continent in the previous imperial era, a piece of official propaganda material seemed to have mentioned the creature called the fairy dragon. Instantly return to the Lord's castle. Master. Even someone as strong as Clay may not be sure of completely destroying the elf tribe. Qin Yan wiped his body clean with the service of the elf maids and returned to the hall. C.S. Escuchando Western Novela on Canal Distinta Mundo Fanfic Novelas, Significat Lo Descarga and Y Superan Sinisfuetzot Invitamos Cordialmente Visitar Nuestro Canal. Mundo Fanfic Novelas all encontras la versión original de esta historia y podrás explorar muchas otras novelas de diversos narradores. Esperamos para su merged on un mundo de novelas incredibles. Chapter 140. Clues to the Fairy Dragon. At the moment when Qin Yan appeared in the elf forest. The elf girls in the elf tribe were all excited. Groups of beautiful elf girls surrounded Qin Yan, but they did not dare to get close. They only dared to hide among the trees and secretly looked at their elf king with admiration. In the forest elves, the elf king is the greatest ruler. It is also that belief of all the elf girls. The news that Qin Yan once led the army to repel the orc army, and the recently built Well of Eternity, made their admiration for Qin Yan reach its peak. Trisna, I am very satisfied with the reconstruction of the elf tribe. Qin Yan felt the extremely rich natural energy in the forest and couldn't help but praise it. Tell the truth. Now there are too many elf warriors in the quiet forest to count, and with the various powerful recovery abilities provided by the Well of Eternity, the combat power of the elf army can only be described as terrifying. In addition, the reserves of various resources are also extremely amazing. Just a casual glance, Qin Yan can see piles of natural fruits, as well as various nectars, which are extremely helpful to the physical fitness of the elf warriors. Amazing resource reserves, plus extremely rich natural energy. The overall combat power of the elves will only become stronger with the passage of time. Trisna, have you seen some strange scenes in the forest recently? After patrolling the elf forest, Qin Yan asked directly. I remember that there seems to be a creature called fairy dragon on the continent. Yes, in Qin Yan's memory. Fairy dragons are a very powerful creature. Their attributes are actually not that outstanding. But it possesses terrifying magical power. In the official data of the previous life, there is a detailed description of the fairy dragon. The 3 skills mastered by the fairy dragon, the illusion ball, the crescent mark and the dream entanglement, are all fatal mass-killing magic, which has the power to instantly reverse the entire battle situation. In addition to this, the fairy dragon also has the ability of a magic mirror, which can bounce back the magic released by the enemy, helping the army to be immune to this damage, and can also cause a heavy blow to the enemy army. It can be seen from this that Annie's next day. It is also because of this. If it can be subdued, then the comprehensive strength of the player's territory will surely increase rapidly. If I remember correctly. Qin Yan thought to himself. There is a characteristic of fairy dragons, that is, they will be attracted by the prosperous elf tribe. Yes, fairy dragons have a certain connection with the elves. The place where the high elves live is also the place where fairy dragons yearn for. And now. After Trisna's painstaking reconstruction. The entire quiet forest has almost been covered by natural barriers. You must know that the area of the quiet forest is very large. Even on the world map, it is very eye-catching. The area is so large. The resource reserves are so amazing. The natural energy is extremely rich. This is undoubtedly the favorite place for fairy dragons to live. It is also because of this. Qin Yan's heart is full of expectations. Perhaps in a hidden place in the quiet forest, there are traces of fairy dragons. Master, are you talking about the creatures that hold the power of the Great Quone? Hearing Qin Yan's question, Trisna was stunned for a moment, and after seeing Qin Yan nod, she immediately replied. Recently, in the south of the quiet forest, it seems that the natural fruit has indeed disappeared inexplicably. As expected of you, Master Qin Yan. Then, Trisna looked as if she had suddenly realized something. Before, I thought that the elf girls had made a mistake in their statistics, but now that you say so, it is indeed in line with the style of the fairy dragons. That's right. The fairy dragons have unparalleled illusion abilities. They also have space teleportation skills. Creatures that don't know about fairy dragons often explain similar things with supernatural explanations. But for Trisna, the goddess of nature. Qin Yan said this, and she immediately reacted. Attribute. The space portal set by the fairy dragon connects 2 spaces. Mission reward. Complete building drawing to a portal 1. This guy. Suddenly, a sharp system sound came to his ears. Mission tips. The space portal is set by the fairy dragon. If anyone other than itself finds it, the magic energy at the portal will dissipate quickly, so please enter as soon as possible, otherwise the mission will automatically disappear with the disappearance of the space portal. Soon, a forest full of fruits appeared in front of him, but there were a few trees with the best quality fruits, and the fruits on them disappeared. Ding dong! You have triggered a hidden task. Subdue the fairy dragon. However, just when Qin Yan was about to speak to comfort him. It is definitely a very difficult thing for players to subdue it. Subdue the fairy dragon. Then, what appeared was a transparent portal. But how can the fairy dragon be so easy to subdue? Players only need to go through the space portal set by the fairy dragon to reach the Crystal Song Forest, and then subdue the fairy dragon living in it, which is equivalent to completing the mission. Of course, the mission seems to be extremely easy. Task level. Hidden task. Suddenly, the calm sky suddenly rippled. And it also has other powerful magic powers. However, after a general sweep of his eyes. Then, Qin Yan cast a system to explore it. Mission introduction. The fairy dragon that abuses magic has affected the stability of the origin of the world. It is time for someone to take action to control it. Seeing this scene, Trisna waved her fist fiercely. You dare to steal the natural fruits that belong to your master, how abominable. His eyes were all on the task reward. 2A Portal Building Blueprint. Space Portal. A series of mission messages appeared in front of Qin Yan. The light there was a little twisted, and if he hadn't noticed it, he wouldn't have noticed it at all. Mission difficulty SSS level. But at this moment, Master, I'll take you there now. But the meaning is actually very simple. That is a guy who can set up a space portal. Qin Yan's attention was all focused on the sky above the fruit trees. Mission content: go through the space portal set by the fairy dragon to reach the Crystal Song Forest, and subdue the fairy dragon in it. Qin Yan did not think about the difficulty of the task. Then, Trisna led the way ahead. Chapter 141. Blueprint of a 2A Portal. 2A Portal Building Blueprints. Seeing the task reward, Qin Yan's eyes suddenly became hot. Because he clearly knew how rare and important space portals were in the Empire continent. Supplies and troops can be transported through the portal. And it is a transportation that ignores the distance of space. As long as there is a space portal, as long as the player's mind moves, the army can immediately arrive at the designated location, and there is no need to worry about the supplies needed for the war. This is the power of the space portal. In the previous life, there was a player from China who had obtained the space portal blueprints. Although he was not one of the first players to land on the Empire continent, he relied on the powerful strategic functions provided by the portal to surpass countless players and rose rapidly in just a few months. And what he obtained was a one-way portal. As the name suggests, the effect of a one-way portal is that it can only be used to teleport from one place to another, but it is impossible to return through this portal. That is to say, the Chinese player needs to build 4 space portals to ensure the transportation between the 2 places. Although this is a bit troublesome, not only does it consume a lot of materials to build the portal, but the player also needs to send a large number of troops to protect the portal. But compared with the strategic value brought by the space portal, this is nothing at all. And the current task reward for conquering the fairy dragon is not a one-way transmission. It is a 2A portal. This means that Qin Yan only needs to build a portal in the quiet forest, and then build a portal in the Hell Fortress, so that the 2 places can be connected, allowing soldiers and residents to enter and exit freely. And if Qin Yan is going to attack a place, he only needs to right-click to arrive there first, and then build a portal, so that the army can be teleported immediately. At the same time, the problem of material transportation will be solved very easily. For me who urgently needs to expand the territory, this is simply like a divine help. Thinking of this, Qin Yan immediately chose to accept the task. He was determined to get this fairy dragon living in the Crystal Song Forest. Roar. It was at the moment when Qin Yan chose to accept the mission. A shocking roar came from the direction of Valina. Then, the huge black dragon body that covered the sky of the sun soared into the sky. Not long after, Claire right above Qin Yan. Master. Ignoring the space portal in the sky, Clay transformed into a dragon princess and knelt on one knee in front of Qin Yan. Clay will follow your orders. Master. At the same time, Trisna on the side also asked for instructions. The elf army has assembled and is rushing over. No need to come. Qin Yan shook his head slowly, and then pointed to the portal in the air in front of him under Trisna's surprised eyes. The magic power of this portal has begun to dissipate. Indeed, in the short time of the conversation, the space portal set up by the fairy dragon in the sky has begun to become illusory, and it will probably disappear completely in less than a minute. At the time, this precious mission will automatically disappear. This is something Qin Yan absolutely cannot allow. Let's go. Thinking of this, Qin Yan directly took Trisna into his arms. The latter wanted to say something, but she was completely exhausted. With the top-notch Black Dragon Queen and the goddess of nature who has supernatural powers protecting you, what else do you need to worry about? The words fell. Qin Yan immediately took the 2 of them and walked into the space portal. ABU. With a flash of light, the 3 figures disappeared at the same time. Then, the space portal dissipated directly in midair. Buzz. With a flash of white light in front of his eyes. When he opened his eyes again, Qin Yan and the other 2 had already appeared in an unfamiliar forest. The sun was blazing in the sky, but the environment here was a little dim. The soil was not poor, but it was definitely not fertile, and the natural energy in the air was also very thin. In short, it was completely incomparable with the fertile quiet forest. Ding dong. You have entered a new map, Crystal Song Forest. The system sound came, and Qin Yan immediately opened the log interface. He had never been here in his previous life. But after opening the world map, Qin Yan found that the location of Crystal Song Forest was actually not far from Valina. pass through the Doomsday Volcano in the south of the Quiet Forest, and then go down a short distance to reach it. As for the surrounding areas of Crystal Song Forest, to the north is Mount Boom, to the west is Storm Peaks, to the east is Soraza Basin, and to the south is Lake Wintergrasp. Compared with the surrounding areas, Crystalsong Forest is the largest. And Qin Yan and his team are located at the southernmost end of Crystalsong Forest. Although the area is a bit large, there are Clay and Trisna working together. Closing the map, Qin Yan was filled with absolute confidence. I believe it won't take too long to find that trace of the fairy dragon! Master, shall we start searching now? Not at this time, Trisna beside him asked for instructions, and after getting Qin Yan's consent, she slowly raised her arm. Buzz. With a surge of natural energy, a large group of agile black panthers appeared on the surrounding ground, and then quickly drilled into the Crystalsong Forest. They shuttled quickly between the trees, as fast as ghosts. In addition, there were also owls, flapping their wings and following. Their vision in the dark is amazing, and it is the best choice to use them for searching. You clever little ghost. Seeing this scene, Qin Yan smiled and stepped forward to scratch Trisna's little nose. Next time you scream softly, I will pretend not to hear it. Master. Trisna's face was flushed when she heard this, and she almost buried her whole body in Qin Yan's chest. Clay, who was standing aside, didn't think there was anything wrong at all. As her master, any request made by Qin Yan would be regarded as the supreme will by Clay. Roar. But at this time, in the dense forest ahead, an unpleasant roar suddenly came. And with this roar, the silence of the entire Crystalsong Forest was broken. For a while, the roars of wild beasts came one after another. It doesn't matter. Qin Yan had already anticipated this situation. It will cause unrest sooner or later. Yeah. Then, Qin Yan took the lead and walked towards the direction where the sound came from. Chapter 142. Unicorn, Undead Encirclement. It's a unicorn. When Qin Yan came to the place where the sound came from, he was slightly surprised. Unicorn rank. 8th rank. Level 423 race. Unicorn. Attack power 180, 220 defense power, 160 HP, 80,000 magic value, 6,000 race talent, anti-magic aura. Help surrounding military units improve magic resistance. Race ability. Blindness attack, Holy Light Shining. Blindness attack. During the charge, the unicorn horn will emit holy light, causing the enemy to fall into a state of blindness. Holy Light Shining. The unicorn horn emits holy light attacks, which can cause additional damage to undead creatures. Description. The unicorns exuding a sacred aura have always been friendly partners of the forest elves. In every powerful elf empire, the unicorn cavalry can be seen. 863 That's right. What the Black Panthers found was not some dark monster. It was a unicorn with a white body and golden mane. As stated in the attribute panel. In the glorious era of the elves, unicorns were also a symbol of glory. But at this moment, the unicorn in the Crystalsong Forest was in a very miserable situation. It lay on the ground dying, with a cut on its abdomen, and silver white blood emitting magical fluctuations spilled all over the ground. It was obviously dying. Isis, looking at Qin Yan who appeared in front of it, the unicorn let out a sad roar. It could sense Qin Yan's identity as the Elf King, and also recognized the symbol of the goddess of nature on the Black Panthers around it, so it had the perseverance to persist until now. Don't move, I'll help you heal. Without Qin Yan speaking, Trisna immediately stepped forward to help the unicorn heal, but then she frowned slightly. Master, this wound was torn by an undead creature. Well. Qin Yan did not show much surprise, and directly took out a bottle of stored holy water of light from the Lord's Space Ranger. Stepped forward and poured it on the unicorn's wound. This can heal it. Hiss. Sure enough, at the moment when the holy water of light was poured, a black mist floated up from the wound. Then, the wound under the unicorn slowly began to recover under the power of natural magic. Master. After curing the unicorn, Trisna turned her head and looked at the black mist that was flying in the air but did not dissipate for a long time. I didn't expect that there were undead creatures in the Crystalsong Forest. Yes. Qin Yan nodded slightly. In the previous life, almost no one in the world had heard of the discovery of undead creatures around the territory. The relevant information provided by the official only listed the undead army. Other information can be almost ignored. But everyone clearly understood. The undead creatures will never give up the plan to rule the continent. They are just dormant in the dark to hoard strength and quietly wait for the opportunity to erupt completely. And since I got the Ash artifact, Qin Yan said in his heart, I have begun to worry more and more about the undead creatures. After all, the Ashbringer is a divine artifact. As a result, after its advancement, it has increased its lethality to undead creatures. If you think about it for a while, you can imagine the horror of the undead power. Woo, woo, it was at this time. Deep in the Crystal Song Forest, a low roar was heard again. The roar was low and hoarse, making people feel very uncomfortable. Obviously, some of the roars that came from the Crystal Song Forest earlier might have been made by the undead creatures. Master, it told me that there are a large number of skeleton soldiers in the Crystal Song Forest. At this time, after communicating with the unicorn, Trisna immediately reported to Qin Yan. And those skeleton soldiers are now under the leadership of several undead wizards to encircle and suppress the 3 tribes of the unicorns. It is the son of the unicorn king. He risked his life to break out of the siege and wanted to find help, but was still surrounded by hundreds of skeleton warriors. Then, Trisna added. Although he eliminated them with the help of the Holy Light, he was also seriously injured. Okay, I know, Trisna, you stay here to protect it first. Qin Yan nodded, and then ordered. Clay, let's go to the sky to see. Yes, Master. The words fell. Suddenly, a terrifying dark energy storm emerged, and then a huge black dragon body of 60 meters high suddenly soared into the sky with Qin Yan. Clay, over there. When Qin Yan came to the sky, he immediately felt something unusual. Roar. Out the Queen of Black Dragons, Clay's perception of dark magic energy was more accurate. Almost the moment she came to the sky, she immediately flew quickly towards the northwest of the Crystal Song Forest. And just a few thousand meters away from Qin Yan, in a royal funnel-shaped valley. If Qin Yan was here, he would definitely be very surprised. Because in the center of the valley, hundreds of unicorns gathered, and the sacred light emanated from their bodies, and then shot through their horns to the valley pass, forming an incomparable sacred barrier. And around the barrier. Tens of thousands of zombies, acolytes and skeletons were rushing into the valley frantically. It has to be said. The sacred light emitted by the unicorns is simply the nemesis of undead creatures. The moment the skeletons touched the golden barrier, they were directly annihilated on the spot. Woo, woo, but outside the valley. Several undead wizards covered in dark magic kept waving their staffs. Every time the staff was restored, hundreds of skeleton soldiers crawled out from the ground. Such a terrifying number basis. Once the front died, the back would make up frantically. At the beginning, the sacred barrier could still resist completely. But as more and more undead creatures rushed up, the sacred barrier began to tremble constantly, and then retreated a little bit. Woo, woo, the barrier retreated, and the skeleton warriors immediately rushed into the pass. The number of undead creatures that could attack the sacred barrier at the same time became even greater. For a moment, the sacred barrier trembled wildly. In such a situation. If there is no reinforcement. It is obviously only a matter of time before the sacred barrier is broken. Ozos. The unicorns in the valley whimpered. They did not originally live here, but because they sensed that a powerful forest elf tribe was rising rapidly in the quiet forest in the center of the continent, and even seemed to have the power of the elf king faintly, so they rushed here. But who would have thought. When passing through the Crystal Song Forest along the way, they alarmed several powerful undead wizards here, and then attracted the encirclement of the undead creatures. Now it seems that the great elf king will not be seen. Thinking of this, the sacred light emitted by the unicorns became dimmer. Roar. But at this moment, the black dragon descended. Chapter 143. Sweeping the Undead Legion. Roar. Accompanied by a thunderous roar. The huge black dragon body descended from the sky with infinite power. The skeleton soldiers gathered at the pass of the valley below were all blasted into pieces by the airwave. Seeing this scene, the unicorns were all excited. Although what appeared in front of them was a huge black dragon, compared with the sacred creatures such as unicorns, it could not be called reinforcement of the same camp. But when the unicorn saw the figure riding on the head of the black dragon and felt the breath of Qin Yan, the elf king, very clearly, all the unicorns burst out with unprecedented momentum. Fortunately, I came in time. Qin Yan looked at the group of snow-white unicorns in the valley. They looked very beautiful. Although they were suppressed just now, they still exuded a holy, noble and sacred breath at all times. These unicorns are simply born to be mounts for the elf warriors. But at this time, the undead wizards outside the valley roared again, and then waved the dark staffs in their hands. Puff. 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 The staffs waved 29, and the surrounding land suddenly exploded. Then countless white arms broke out of the ground. Skeleton soldiers, zombies and acolytes all over the mountains and plains drilled out from the ground. Their hollow eyes stared at Qin Yan and Clay in the air, and then continued to charge into the valley. Clay, the next step is up to you. Seeing this scene, Qin Yan immediately ordered. Kill them all! Yes, Master. Putting Qin Yan on the top of the valley, Clay took off into the air, and then quickly pounced on the skeleton army below. Roar. Clay flew through the skeleton army, and then spit out a breath of black flame dragon breath below, and the dark flames tore all the skeletons to pieces. In an instant, nearly 2,000 skeleton warriors died under Clay's dragon breath. But the unicorns were not afraid either. Led by the Unicorn King, the silver horns on all the unicorns' heads simultaneously lit up with brilliant golden light, and then condensed into a thick golden beam, shooting towards the skeleton army. Boom. Boom. The skeleton warriors met the golden beam. It was like the first snow meeting the scorching sun, and it turned directly into powder. As expected of the unicorns representing the sacredness. Seeing this scene, Qin Yan couldn't help but cheer. The sacred beams they emitted were simply the nemesis of the undead army. Wherever they passed, the Skeleton King soldiers survived. For a while, the entire battle situation showed a one-sided trend. Even if those undead wizards waved the dark staff at the same time, they still couldn't save the situation. Not long after. Only the last few undead wizards were left on the battlefield, their bodies covered in dark robes, revealing only a pair of empty eyes. Undead wizard rank. 8th rank. Level 425 race. Undead. Attack power 260, 300 offensive power 150 HP. 1,0,0,0,0 mana. 50,000 racial talent. Dark Soul. Soul destroyed by the desire for dark magic. The dark magic effect is plus 10% racial ability. Undead Awakening. Evil Frenzy. Crippling Curse. Undead Awakening. Summon a large number of undead creatures, including warriors, zombies, etc. Evil Frenzy. Increase the attack speed of surrounding undead creatures by 70%, but reduce the attack power by 10%. Crippled Curse. Curse the target to make it crippled, reduce movement speed by 75%, and reduce attack by 50%. Description. These undead wizards can summon skeleton soldiers continuously, and even form a sea of skeletons, and they can also use dark magic to provide combat capabilities for undead warriors. An undead wizard can summon hundreds of skeleton soldiers at will. After checking the properties, Qin Yan was slightly dumbfounded. If hundreds of undead wizards summon at the same time, wouldn't it be a 10,000 man army for you in seconds? No wonder it's called a sea of skeletons. The enemy can be directly killed by sheer number. Of course, there is still a certain gap in combat effectiveness. The skeleton soldiers summoned by the undead wizards cannot wear armor at all, and their weapons are just the most ordinary bone swords. Many skeleton soldiers even break their arms directly as weapons, so their single combat capabilities are very limited. And the best way to deal with the skeleton sea is to kill all the undead wizards before the skeleton warriors are summoned. Thinking of this, Qin Yan immediately ordered, "Clay, get rid of these undead wizards." Roar. As soon as the voice fell, a dark energy storm suddenly emerged. The Unicorn King standing in the front raised his head and looked at Qin Yan at the top of the valley, and made a loud voice. The next moment, pleasant system sounds rang out one after another. It is the best decision to subdue these unicorns. The pleasant system sound came one after another, announcing the victory of the war. Swish. All of a sudden, all the unicorns in the valley jumped up and down excitedly. The body of the undead wizard was shattered. Ding dong. Congratulations to the player, your black dragon has successfully killed the undead wizard. In short 753 then, the unicorn slowly lowered his head towards Qin Yan. Suddenly, another pleasant system sound rang in my ears. Amidst the golden light, the contract was signed. The huge black dragon body disappeared, and then Clay in the form of Dragon Princess slowly walked out of the energy storm. The blind attack skills mastered by the unicorns also have a chance to play a miraculous effect on the battlefield. He expressed their inner submission to Qin Yan in the air. Ding dong. Congratulations to player Qin Yan. Because of your identity as the Elf King, the Unicorn King requests to lead the tribesmen to join your territory. The next moment, Clay shuttled back and forth in the Dark Realm. Woo woo. Ding dong. Your black dragon has gained 1,200 experience points. The entire unicorn army has been left to Qin Yan's control. The attributes of the unicorn are not weak, and the holy light emitted by the unicorn horn is the nemesis of the undead creatures. Their joining can definitely provide powerful assistance for clearing the undead army. And in addition to this, then just when Qin Yan nodded. A dazzling golden light emanated from the unicorns. But at this moment, just at the moment she walked out, endless dark energy rushed out and instantly spread to hundreds of meters. Except the unicorn on the top of his head also emitted a faint golden light. Do you accept it? The voice came, and Qin Yan nodded immediately without any hesitation. Ding dong. Mission reminder. You have successfully killed the undead wizards stationed in the Crystal Song Forest, and the progress of the mission has been made. Chapter 144. Progress improved, Bone Dragon attacks. At the moment when the system sounded. In the task list, Subdue the Fairy Dragon automatically appeared in front of him. Subdue the Fairy Dragon task level. Hidden task. Task difficulty. SSS level. Task progress. 25% task content. Subdue the Fairy Dragon in the Crystal Song Forest. Task reward. Complete building blueprint 2A portal 1. Task prompt. Kill the undead creatures in the Crystal Song Forest and purify the undead aura in the forest, which can effectively improve the task progress. So the task requirement this time is to clear the undead creatures in the Crystal Song Forest. After checking the completely new task interface, Qin Yan suddenly realized. Although the soil in the Crystal Song Forest is not fertile, it is not so barren that natural fruits can often be seen in it. But after the undead creatures arrived, the soil was immediately polluted. The outer area of the forest is fine, but the inner area is full of undead aura. And this is also the reason why the fairy dragon left. So what I have to do next is to clear the undead creatures in the Crystal Song Forest and purify the land of this forest. Qin Yan. After doing all this, the fairy dragon will naturally appear. Master Trisna also understood Qin Yan's idea instantly, pointing to the horns on the heads of the unicorns and said, "They can purify this forest." The unicorns did not hesitate. There are about 200 of them, but only a few are adult unicorns. Most of them are just old and young. Under the command of the Unicorn King in the center of the team, they all gathered together. Then, each unicorn exuded an extremely sacred light. Then these brilliant golden lights shot into the sky through the horns on their heads, and then condensed into a sacred halo that enveloped the surrounding area. Buzz. 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 The golden light surged. The soil that was polluted and necrotic by the breath of the undead regained its luster, and the plants also regained their lives, and everything in the surrounding area was purified. And as the area was purified. In Qin Yan's task interface, the progress of the Subdue the Fairy Dragon task also slowly began to increase. 26%, 27%, 28%. Although the increase was very slow, it still made Qin Yan satisfied. After all, the reward for this SSS level task is the extremely precious and rare space portal building blueprint. And it is a 2A portal. Such a precious strategic building, Qin Yan must get it. Well, Trisna, you'll leave the unicorns to slowly purify the forest. Thinking of this, Qin Yan immediately ordered, "Clay and I will clear the undead creatures in the forest." Trisna has the ability to heal the aura. The injuries of the unicorns have gradually healed. The sacred beams emitted from the horns on their heads are also becoming more and more intense. I believe it won't take long to purify all the undead breath in the Crystal Song Forest. So that this forest will be revitalized. Yes, Master. Qin Yan ordered. Trisna and the others immediately took action. With Qin Yan was the center, and the surrounding area was quickly purified outward. The progress of the task increased at a speed visible to the naked eye. But at this moment, the sharp system sound came again. Warning. The general of the Scourge Great Lich Kel'Thuzad is about to lead the undead army in the Crystal Song Forest to attack you! Please prepare in time! Woo woo. Ghouls with sharp claws. Zombies with rotting bodies spewing putrid fluid. The undead army all over the mountains and plains, attacking again. Clay. Qin Yan looked at the undead army rushing in the forest in front of him, but there was no fear in his eyes. Kill them all! As you wish. After the voice fell, a pair of dark dragon wings formed by the condensation of dark energy spread out from behind Clay. She was still in the form of a dragon princess, but her body was moving towards the undead army at an astonishing speed. Bang. 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 The dark energy storm condensed behind Clay, and then suddenly expanded outward as the dragon wings flapped. In an instant, the dark storm spread nearly 1,000 meters, and wherever it passed, all the skeleton soldiers flew back heavily as if they were hit by a shell, and turned directly into powder in midair. But this is not over yet. Ha! As Clay slapped the ground with one palm. Boom. The earth shook, and the sky and the earth lost their color. The dark realm was like a tsunami, shaking out layer by layer. In an instant, the entire undead army was enveloped. These undead creatures have no flesh and blood, so they will not be corroded by dark energy. But the energy surge caused by the storm still tore their bodies apart directly. But at this moment, with a horse roar. In the depths of the forest, humanoid warriors riding skeleton war horses quickly walked out. They were huge, strong, and covered in armor. They held black swords in their hands, and their eyes flashed with dark blue light. And the identities of these monsters, almost everyone would react instantly when they saw them. Death Knight. Death Knight grade. 10th grade. Level 425 race. Undead. Attack power 340, 420 defense power 380 health value 24000 magic value 30,000 racial talent. Curse attack. Attack will curse the enemy, reducing all its attributes. Racial abilities. Necromancer Smash, Death Charge, Fatal Blow. Necromancer Smash. 20% chance to double attack. Death Charge. Charge to the target and attack. Fatal Blow. Cause damage to the enemy in percentage. Description. Death Knights are derived from the souls and corpses of the dead knights, Wang Yuo. They were excellent knights of the kingdom before their death, but after death they became cursed creatures and could not be reborn. They are the elite force of the undead. Wu accompanied by a horse roar, the Death Knights charged towards Clay. They were numerous and extremely fast. They had just emerged from the depths of the forest. But in the blink of an eye, they turned into black light and rushed towards Clay, looking for death. Clay raised her arm, and the black flame dragon spear immediately condensed. Then, it broke through the air. Boom. 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 The black flame dragon spear carried endless dark energy and instantly tore the Death Knights apart. Roar. But at this time, a horse dragon roar suddenly came from the depths of the forest. Then a huge dragon, no, to be exact, it should be a huge dragon bone, roared and flew directly into the sky. Chapter 145. Ace Troops, Frost Dragon. Roar. Accompanied by a horse roar. A huge dragon bone that was at least tens of meters long suddenly soared into the sky, and then hovered in the sky, with scarlet light dancing in its eye sockets. Bone Dragon rank. Elite level 12 level 425 race. Undead. Attack power 460, 520 defense power 420 health value 60000 magic value 30,000 racial talent. Magic immunity. Bone dragons are undead creatures, not affected by magic such as resurrection, sacrifice, blessing, curse, blindness, etc. Racial ability. Spraying Dragon Breath. Spraying Dragon Breath containing the power of the undead, can cause continuous curse damage to the enemy, and even instantly age. Description. Bone dragons are advanced combat puppets summoned by necromancers who use advanced dark magic to resurrect dead dragons. They are not only immune to magic, but also can spit dragon breath. They are the top soldiers of the undead. As the bone dragon appeared, Qin Yan looked at the huge dragon bones rising into the sky, but he did not show any excitement. Because he knew that the bone dragon was very weak. It was the weakest among all the top soldiers. In a real battle, let alone ordinary bone dragons, even the ghost dragons that evolved from bone dragons would need several to join forces to have a chance of killing the black dragon. Besides, Clay 327 was not an ordinary black dragon. She is the queen of black dragons, the king of the black dragon race. Dealing with these top military humiliations is completely easy. Damn bastards. Looking at the bone dragon circling in the sky, Clay's eyes began to change, and her body expanded rapidly in less than a second. All of you die. The next moment, a huge black dragon over 60 meters long soared into the sky, and then spewed dragon breath, rushing into the pile of bone dragons. The body of the bone dragon instantly collapsed when the black flame dragon breath passed. The wings emitting rich dark energy swept directly through the pile of bone dragons. La la la. The bone dragon's body shattered instantly. The burning dragon bones fell like a meteor shower, smashing the skeleton soldiers that had just emerged from the ground. Ding dong. Congratulations, your black dragon has successfully killed Bone Dragon 1! Ding dong. Your black dragon has gained 3,500 experience points. The pleasant system sounds rang out one after another. Why do I feel like Clay is the ultimate boss? Qin Yan looked at Clay flying up and down in the air, and her huge body easily destroyed the body of the bone dragon. He felt an indescribable feeling in his heart. If it were an ordinary player, encountering such a large number of undead legions, there would be no need for the bone dragons to take action, and they would have collapsed instantly. But the result is now. Clay swept the entire undead legion with her own strength. Neither the Death Knights nor the flying bone dragons in the sky could resist Clay at all. Not to mention those ordinary skeleton soldiers. The energy storm alone could crush them instantly. Roar. At this time, Clay in the sky let out a shocking dragon roar. And the bone dragons around her had already turned into powder. Perhaps because of fighting with creatures of the same type, Clay was more happy to kill. That's all. Keep going. Clay transformed into a dragon princess again, fluttering her dark dragon wings in midair, pointing the black flame dragon spear in her hand at the depths of the forest. Isn't it the undead army that claims to be immortal? But. After the words fell. Endless dragon power spread out from Clay's body. Ozos, the skeleton soldiers whimpered unpleasantly, but they couldn't move forward at all. As the lowest level of undead creatures, they had no wisdom, nor did they have fear. But Clay's infinite dragon power suppressed them. But they couldn't move forward at all. At the same time, a pleasant system sound rang in Qin Yan's ears. Ding dong. Task reminder. Progress in the task of conquering the fairy dragon has been made. The sound came, and the task list appeared automatically. Conquer the fairy dragon jet task level. Hidden task. But at this moment, a shocking dragon roar suddenly sounded again in the dark cloud in the sky. But at this moment, a hoarse laugh suddenly sounded in my ears. Frost Dragon. Mission reward. Complete building blueprint to a portal 1. Roar exclamation mark bang. Like the Bone Dragon, the Frost Dragon is also the ultimate undead soldier generated by resurrecting dead dragons with undead magic. It can be seen that they are powerful. The moment Qin saw the blue dragon, Yan immediately recognized its identity. Even if it was a real dragon, it would never dare to raise its head without her permission. These dragons exuding cold power serve their dark masters wholeheartedly. They are the trump card soldiers of the undead and the nightmare of all those who try to resist the undead army. Endless dark energy storm surged out of Clay's body. They have strong attack power and splash attack effect. Mission tips. Kill the undead creatures in the Crystal Song Forest and purify the undead breath in the forest to effectively improve the mission progress. Exclamation mark die. Not to mention the undead magic, the guy who was resurrected by magic. The voice fell. Task progress. 63% ignoring the frost dragon breath spewed out by the frost dragon, Clay directly shuttled through the dark field and appeared at its neck. If these guys attack ordinary player territories, I'm afraid that the army of the player's territory will collapse instantly when they appear. Task difficulty. SSS level. Task content. Conquer the fairy dragon in the Crystal Song Forest. This is the introduction of the frost dragon and the official information in Qin Yan's memory. In an instant, the dark field completely enveloped the body of the frost dragon. After Clay killed the Death Knights and the Bone Dragon in the sky, the mission progress has reached 63%, and the unicorns are also purifying the forest area continuously. Close in the mission interface, Qin Yan thought to himself. According to this progress, it is estimated that the next step is to defeat the last Great Lich, which means that the mission is officially completed. Another scumbag. Then a huge dragon with ice blue bones, ferocious teeth, and a pair of huge crystal-like wings on its back appeared in Tianjin. But Clay didn't care at all. She was suspended in the sky, looking down at the frost dragon below, with disdain in her eyes. They can also slow down enemy units and even freeze buildings. The black flame dragon spear swept across, and the ice crystals covering the frost dragon's bones shattered. Chapter 146. Destroying everything with ease, the fairy dragon appears. Completely ignoring the frost dragon breath spewed out by the frost dragon. Clay held the black flame dragon spear in one hand, ready to tear the frost dragon's body into pieces just like she did when fighting the bone dragon just now. But at this moment, she suddenly sensed a hint of danger, so she immediately activated the dark energy and dodged in the dark field. Boom. Sure enough, almost at the moment when Clay shuttled away, a ball of extremely dense dark magic energy exploded at her original position. Is the Great Lich finally going to show up? Listening to the hoarse laughter coming from his ears, Qin Yan's expression became serious. The initiator of these undead creatures that appeared in the Crystal Song Forest was the Great Lich named Kel'Thuzad. Only by killing it can the undead creatures be completely eradicated. It also means that the task of subduing the fairy dragon is completed. Chuan. At this time, accompanied by a hoarse laugher. A lich, whose entire body was covered in a dark robe, revealing only a pair of empty eyes, appeared above the head of the frost dragon. Great Lich Kel'Thuzad rank. 13th rank. Level 430 race. Undead. Attack power 580 640 defense power 420 HP 300,000 magic value 120,000 racial talent. Ice specialization. It chooses powerful ice magic to fight, and the effect of any ice magic is plus 20% racial ability. Frost Star. Dark Ritual. Death and Decay. Frost Star causes freezing damage to a single enemy and affects enemies around him, slowing them down. Dark Ritual. Kill a friendly unit and restore its HP to other friendly units in proportion. Death and Decay. The ultimate spell releases a shockwave containing the power of death, causing heavy damage to all living enemies within the range. Description: the Orc Wizard was transformed into a Lich by evil magic, possessing an immortal body and powerful magic, and loyally obeying the will of the Lich King. The Scourge controlled the cold northern region of the continent with these loyal lieges. ISIS. Just when Qin Yan checked the properties, all the skeleton warriors on the ground raised their weapons and roared unpleasantly. However, Qin Yan did not have any emotional fluctuations. It just waved the skeleton staff in its hand. Suddenly, dark magic emerged one after another. Crack, crack. The bodies of the skeleton warriors on the ground quickly disintegrated, and groups of dark undead energy burst out from their bodies, and then gathered towards the frost dragon in the air. Buzz. Buzz. The undead energy surged. The injuries that Clay had caused to the frost dragon before healed at a speed visible to the naked eye. And after receiving the blessing of the undead energy, the ice crystals covering the surface of the frost dragon became harder. The breath of frost dragon spewed out, and it condensed directly in the air to form the first ice cone. It was the effect of the dark ritual skill. It seems that we can only fight quickly and decisively. Qin Yan looked at the endless number of skeleton soldiers on the ground. They were natural supplements for the frost dragon. The Great Lich only needed to continuously perform the dark ritual skill. The injuries on the frost dragon were continuously repaired. It was extremely troublesome. So the only way is to kill the frost dragon in one blow. Qin Yan. Or find an opportunity to get rid of the Great Lich, so that we can win the battle. With the powerful attributes of the frost dragon, ordinary soldiers could not kill it in 1 second, and the consequence was that they could only stalemate with the undead army. But the result is obvious. The end of doing this is definitely a dead end. Quick battle, Clay. At that moment, Qin Yan no longer hesitated and directly ordered, "Don't give them a chance to fight a protracted war. Others can't do it, but it doesn't mean Clay can apostrophe T. The ability to shuttle through the domain she has mastered is just their nemesis. As you wish." After the voice fell, Clay lowered her head slightly, and saw the dragon wings condensed by dark energy quickly wrapped around her, and then suddenly spread out. In an instant, Clay disappeared directly from the spot. When she appeared again, she had already come to the side of the frost dragon. The black flame dragon spear pierced fiercely, and then fiercely slashed 10 times. Spiderweb-like cracks spread rapidly on the surface of the frost dragon's body. This blow directly shattered a small part of its body. Woo! The whole body of the Great Lich was shattered. The skeleton soldiers on the ground turned into dark undead energy one after another, and then poured into the body of the frost dragon, but this still couldn't stop its destruction. Ding dong! Your black dragon has gained 8,000 experience points. It was the fairy dragon gate. Not only did she dodge the death and decay magic of the Great Lich, but she also dealt heavy blows to different parts of the frost dragon's body. The Great Lich, who then fell to the ground, was still waving the skeleton staff, madly releasing death and decay magic around him, trying to stop Clay's attack. Announcing the death of the frost dragon. ISIS. Then, brilliant golden light rose from Clay's feet. ABU. 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 But it couldn't hit at all. Boom. And at this time, the task interface also popped up automatically. Although the Great Lich's skeleton staff kept waving. Clattered. Ding dong! Your black dragon has gained 15,000 experience points. GQ. The Great Lich roared, and then waved the skeleton staff in his hand wildly, and the undead energy burst out one after another, trying to hit Clay. The progress of the task has reached 99%. Puff. The broken ice blue bones were scattered all over the ground. The pleasant system prompts that came one after another made Qin Yan feel very satisfied. Ding dong! Congratulations to the player, your black dragon has been upgraded to LV23. Finally, Clay's black flame dragon spear went straight from bottom to top, piercing the entire body of the frost dragon, and the latter's huge crystal-like wings were instantly destroyed by the black flame dragon spear that swept across. Then, a cute, sparkling, and furry little flying creature appeared inside. But the next moment, the dragon spear burning with dark flames directly pierced through its forehead. Ding dong! Congratulations to the player, your black dragon has successfully killed Frost Dragon 1. Clay kept shuttling in the dark realm. Instantly, Qin Yan immediately locked its identity. Somewhere in the depths of the dense forest, magic energy suddenly surged. Buzz. Buzz. The task of taming the fairy dragon was displayed in front of Qin Yan just at this time. Ding dong! Congratulations to the player, your black dragon has successfully killed Great Lich Kelf Wizard.
Si estes escuchando esta novela en un canal distinto al mundo fanfic novelas, significat lo descarga and y subieron sin esfuerzos invitamos cordialmente a visitar nuestro canal. Mundo fanfic novelas all encontras la versión original de esta historia y podrás explorar muchas otras novelas de diversos narradores. Te esperamos para sumergirte en un mundo de novelas incredibles. Chapter 147. Contracting the Fairy Dragon. Jigu Jigu. Accompanied by the surge of rich magical energy. A cute, sparkling, furry tentacles, and a dreamy little flying creature slowly flew out from the depths of the forest. It was the fairy dragon. The magical power possessed by the fairy dragon is also dreamy. It had just appeared from the forest. But the next moment, it appeared directly in front of Qin Yan as if it had traveled through space. Yeah. Perhaps Qin Yan cleared the undead creatures in the Crystal Song Forest, or perhaps it sensed the aura of the Elf King emanating from his body. The fairy dragon did not show any sign of vigilance. On the contrary, it rubbed Qin Yan's arm affectionately and called out affectionately, "Hello, little guy." Qin Yan felt the kindness emanating from the fairy dragon, and couldn't help but reach out and hold it in his hand. 760 suddenly felt warm and soft and filled his palm. Yeah. The little guy seemed a little shy. A surge of magic, the little fairy dragon directly shuttled through space and reached Qin Yan's shoulder. The fairy dragon is indeed a creature that masters magical power. Qin Yan looked at this wonderful scene and couldn't help but sigh in his heart. Just at this moment, the little fairy dragon on his shoulder made another intimate call, and then a gorgeous magic light emanated from its magic wings and surrounded Qin Yan. At the same time, the little guy himself flashed in front of Qin Yan again and lowered his head slightly. Then, a pleasant system sound rang in his ears. Ding dong. The fairy dragon requests to sign a contract with you and become your pet. Excuse me, do you accept it? Is there any need to ask this? Qin Yan's purpose of crossing the portal to the Crystal Song Forest was to subdue this little guy. Now that the little guy took the initiative to request to sign a contract, how could he refuse? Accept. At the moment, Qin Yan nodded immediately. Buzz. The voice fell. Suddenly, endless brilliant golden light burst out from the fairy dragon in front of him, and then slowly gathered into Qin Yan's body. Just when the golden light entered Qin Yan's body, a strong magical breath suddenly appeared. The contract has been signed successfully. Ding dong. Congratulations to the player, you have successfully signed a contract with the fairy dragon. Reputation value plus 3000. When the voice came, Qin Yan suddenly had an indescribable wonderful connection in his mind. No need to give orders with words. As long as Qin Yan moved his mind, he could master everything about the fairy dragon. And at this moment, the fairy dragon, whose contract was signed, suddenly burst out endless brilliant golden light again. Then, the pleasant system sound came again. Ding dong. Due to the god-level talent of the chosen son, the fairy dragon successfully awakened and evolved into the fairy dragon queen in the process of signing the contract with you! It actually evolved into the queen of the race again. The voice sounded, and then under Qin Yan's surprised gaze, the breath of the fairy dragon in the palm of his hand began to increase at a speed visible to the naked eye, and the appearance that was originally like a dream became more and more magnificent. Buzz. The golden light was restrained. Accompanied by a strong surge of magical energy. The little fairy dragon has completely awakened and evolved into the queen of the race. Yeah. As if soaking in a warm hot spring, the little guy stroked his belly and lay lazily in Qin Yan's palm. You, little guy, really know how to enjoy yourself. Seeing this scene, Qin Yan couldn't help laughing, and then thought of a name. Then, I'll call you Eliza from now on. Eliza. The little guy seemed very excited to get his name. He circled in the sky with his gorgeous wings flapping. Wherever he passed, the sky was sprinkled with streams of light, looking extremely beautiful. What a lovely little guy. Seeing this scene, Qin Yan couldn't help but smile with relief. But he knew that the wonder of the fairy dragon was not only in appearance, but also in its powerful magic power. No matter when or where. It was the most mysterious existence on the continent in the Empire era. Every magician will be respected by everyone. At the same time, the power they possessed was also extremely powerful. Just like the previous undead wizards. Their own attributes were not particularly powerful, but with the power of undead magic they mastered, they could easily summon a terrifying number of skeleton armies. And the undead greatly Lich, who was just killed, could easily summon a powerful legion of bone dragons. And he also mastered powerful undead magic. The effects of death and decay and dark rituals are terrifying. If Clay didn't have the ability to travel through realms. It would definitely not be an easy task for Qin Yan to deal with this great undead Lich. And now the Eliza that Qin Yan just subdued. It is the fairy dragon known for its magical power. In the sky above, wherever Eliza flew past, the magical elements in the air surged. This is enough to show how powerful Eliza's magical power is. Ding dong. Do you want to check the attributes of the fairy dragon Eliza? Check it now. With anticipation, Eliza's attribute panel appeared in front of Qin Yan. Eliza gender: female. Age: teenager. Race: fairy dragon. Identity: fairy dragon queen. Rank: 14th rank. Level: 4. 15 HP. 42,000 magic value, 24,000 attack power, 760 920 defense, 560 constitution, 560 strength, 500 agility, 650 intelligence, 800 racial talent, natural caster. Each magic mastered can be released 5 times a day without consumption. Racial abilities: magic mirror, illusion orb, crescent trace, dream coil. Magic mirror: there is a chance to rebound the magic released by the enemy. Illusion orb: release a magic ball that flies in a straight line, causing damage to 0.9 enemy units in the nearby range during the movement, and the fairy dragon can teleport to the location of the magic ball at any time. Crescent trace: the fairy dragon sprinkles her mysterious fairy dust, causing damage to enemy units in the nearby range and banning magic. Dream coil: the fairy dragon casts a powerful illusion to cover the battlefield, creating a constantly changing magic entanglement that instantly causes damage and stuns enemy units in the nearby range, and enemies who try to break free from the dream range will suffer additional damage. Racial restraint: has a dominant position in the fairy dragon clan. Exclusive ability: as the level increases, the fairy dragon queen will awaken more exclusive abilities when sleeping. Owner: Qin Yan. Description: the fairy dragon queen who has signed a contract with the player Qin Yan has an absolute dominant position in the fairy dragon race, and as the level continues to increase, she can awaken more powerful fairy dragon queen exclusive abilities. Chapter 148. The Powerful Fairy Dragon. The fairy dragon is indeed a creature known for its magical power. After checking the attributes, Qin Yan couldn't help but marvel in his heart. Let us talk about the attributes first. Eliza's attributes in terms of defense and light value, as well as strength and physique, are actually not that outstanding. But her magic attack power, magic value and intelligence attributes are all very amazing. And on this basis, Eliza's racial talents and the several magics she has mastered are fully demonstrated. First, racial talents. Eliza's racial talent is called Natural Caster. Just looking at the name, you can tell this is definitely related to magical power. And its effect is also unexpectedly powerful. Each kind of magic mastered by Eliza can be released 5 times a day without consumption. What does this mean? That is to say, no matter whether Eliza's magic value is sufficient or not, she can release it at will, and every kind of magic can be released without consumption. What is the concept? The two sides just started fighting, and Eliza went up and threw all the magic in a round, and the scene was simply explosive. As a backup, the effect of this talent is also very amazing. In a word, Eliza was born with this racial talent of 29, which will definitely be of great help to Qin Yan's plan to expand the territory to the empire level. After talking about the talent, Qin Yan's attention was focused on the several magics that Eliza mastered. Only at level 15, still in the teenage stage, Eliza has mastered 4 magics. Magic Mirror, Illusion Orb, Crescent Mark, Dream Entanglement. Except for the Magic Mirror, which has a chance to rebound the magic released by the enemy after it is turned on, the effect is considered defensive magic. The other 3 magics are all lethal ranged magic. The lethality of the magic after it is released is directly increased by the superposition of magic attack power and intelligence attributes, so the damage is quite explosive. With the Natural Caster's racial talent. When the two sides fight, they will throw all magic in one round. Damage, magic ban and stun control effects all explode. Just think about how terrible Eliza's destructive power is on the battlefield. This is far beyond the human witch, and compared with Trisna, the goddess of nature, it is not inferior at all, and even better. After all, Trisna's several abilities are more inclined to provide protection for friendly troops, while the fairy dragon king Eliza is a big killer with cute appearance but explosive damage. In this regard, Qin Yan can only say that the fairy dragon is worthy of being the most powerful magic dragon on the continent of the Empire Age. Although they do not have the ability to spit dragon breath, their attainments in magic are indeed unique. No player in the previous life has ever conquered a fairy.
Turning off the attributes, Qin Yan's eyes were like torches. But in this life, I broke the impossibility of the previous life and successfully obtained the loyalty of the fairy dragon. Qin Yan really couldn't imagine it. When Eliza was madly releasing magic on the battlefield, who else could stop her magic torrent except for Clay, who was immune to magic? It was completely unstoppable. Whoever came would die. Master, great. At this time, Eliza had also fully mastered the new abilities after awakening and evolution. She danced up and down around Qin Yan. The exquisite and beautiful dragon wings brought up bursts of gorgeous like dog fairy dust surrounded Qin Yan, and the fatigue caused by the previous naming was quickly relieved. 50,000 wood and ore. Okay, these basic resources are mined quickly and can be easily obtained. Especially those rare resources, which are really not something that ordinary people can gather. Fortunately, Qin Yan conquered the dwarves in advance, otherwise it would take a long time to get such a large number of gems and crystals. If you want to be rich, build legendary. Extra function. Magic shield. Rich magic power forms a shield around, making the portal more difficult to break. Extra function triggered by the god-level talent of the Unchosen Sun. To a portal the voice came, and suddenly, a building blueprint shining with bright golden light fell on Qin Yan's palm. He just named Eliza. Basic function. Quantity increase. Players can deliver more units at a time. Description. The space portal can connect two spaces, ignoring the distance between the two places to transport materials and troops. It is a priceless treasure-level building, but because it needs to condense rich magic energy, it takes a long time to build. Compared with the strategic value brought by the 2A portal, the cost of these resources is not so important. Basic function. Army delivery. Can help players solve the problem of long-distance army transportation. Basic function. Material delivery. Can help players solve the problem of long-distance material transportation. Ding dong. Congratulations to the player for successfully completing the SSS level task, subdue the fairy dragon. A full 200,000 gold coins are simply sky-high prices for ordinary players, and there are 20,000 units of sulfur. If it weren't for Qin Yan, Yan conquered the Hellfire Peninsula, so he definitely couldn't afford such a large amount of sulfur. And at this moment, a pleasant system sound came. To be honest, Qin Yan is indeed a little tired. And the most important thing is, 10,000 units of crystals and gems each. When Qin Yan was in Valina before. Of course, it was just a pain in his heart. But the construction materials of the 2A portals are still very demanding. Congratulations to the player for obtaining the complete building blueprint, 2A Portal 1. He named 3 subordinates, all 3 Asana and Emily, in one breath, and he has not fully recovered until now. Even now, Qin Yan couldn't help but feel a pain in his heart when he took out so many resources to build. Qin Yan couldn't fail to understand this truth. Ding dong. It is detected that the player has the construction qualification of 2A portal. Seeing the construction material requirements, even Qin Yan was stunned. This is too expensive, right? Do you want to build it immediately? Construction materials. 200,000 gold coins, 50,000 wood, 50,000 ore, 20,000 sulfur, 10,000 gems, 10,000 crystals. But now, with Eliza as a magic source by his side, the whole person is comfortable and happy. FK ? In the Empire continent, players need to consume mental power to name their subordinates, which is equivalent to the magic power in the body of the monster. After consumption, it will affect their current attributes. It takes a long time to fully recover. These two things are real rare resources. At this time, a pleasant system sound came. Chapter 149. Creating a 2A portal. Build now. The voice came, and Qin Yan nodded without any hesitation. Boom. The voice fell. All of a sudden, the magic elements in the air of the entire Crystal Song Forest began to stir, and then quickly gathered towards the designated location selected by Qin Yan. Boom. 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 The rich magic elements came one after another. The air suddenly rang with heavy roars. The area also began to become illusory. Then from the ground, a giant portal as high as 30 meters slowly emerged. And with the influx of magic energy, it gradually solidified bit by bit. The 2A portal is under construction. 1%, 2%, 3%, perhaps. After the purification of the unicorns, the magic atmosphere in the Crystal Song Forest is very strong at this time, and the speed of building the portal is not particularly slow. Almost every 10 seconds, the progress bar will increase by 1% compared to the just checked 2A portal building properties, and the special note in the system description that it takes a long time to build, the speed is already very fast. Master. At this time, perhaps sensing the restless magic elements in the air, Alyssa also fluttered her gorgeous wings and came to Qin Yan. Are you condensing a space portal? ? Yeah, that's right. Qin Yan nodded, then stepped forward and scratched Alyssa's little nose. It's almost the same as when you went to the quiet forest to steal natural fruits to eat. Yeah. When Alyssa heard this, she immediately stretched out her front paws in a very human way, covering her face, looking extremely shy. Haha. Trishana couldn't help laughing when she saw this scene. After eating the master's fruit, you were destined to serve the master! Her. Eliza's eyes lit up when she heard this. Then I will help you condense the space portal together. But. After the words fell. Eliza suddenly flapped her gorgeous dragon wings. Suddenly, endless fairy dust was emitted. These fairy dusts looked very beautiful. Including Qin Yan. Everyone present could feel how rich the magic energy contained in it was. After these fairy dusts were emitted from Eliza's body, they quickly gathered towards the space portal being built. Then, like a drop of water falling into the lake, it merged into it with waves. 15%, 17%, 19%, and Qin and Lord Yan's interface. The speed of building the 2A portal also began to increase rapidly. From the initial 1% increase of more than 10 seconds, it now takes only 3 seconds to improve the progress, and it is still 2% each time. The construction speed has increased by at least 5 times. This mission of taming the fairy dragon is worth it. Seeing this scene, Qin Yan became more and more satisfied. At the same time, a hint of expectation also appeared in his eyes. As mentioned before, if you want to be rich, you must first build roads. Qin Yan knows this truth clearly. Now, the entire Crystal Song Forest has been upgraded again with the efforts of Trisna and the unicorns, and all the undead auras in it have disappeared. It is a perfect choice to build a new strategic base here. After building the space portal in Crystal Song Forest, I only need to go back to the quiet forest to build another space portal, and then I can let the elf warriors come here through the portal to station. Qin Yan looked at the 2A portal that was rapidly condensing and taking shape, and began to make a new plan in his heart. In this way, the speed of my expansion to the south of the continent will instantly take a big step forward. As mentioned before, Crystal Song Forest is under the Doomsday Volcano, which is located in the southern part of the continent. As for its surrounding areas, the Doomsday Volcano is in the north, the Storm Peaks is in the west, the Soraza Basin is in the east, and the Winter Grass Lake is in the south. In these places, Qin Yan only stayed in Storm Peaks for a period of time in his previous life, and the harvest was not bad. And his current plan is to build the territory into an indestructible and invincible empire in the shortest time possible, so these areas are the targets that Qin Yan is preparing to attack. After the 2A portal between Crystal Song Forest and Quiet Forest is built, Qin Yan can continuously send troops here and build it into a strategic fortress in the south of the base camp. Let's call it Crystal Song Fortress at the time. At this time, a pleasant system sound rang in my ears. Ding dong. Congratulations to the player, the 2A portal has been successfully built. Buzz. At the moment when the sound came, a strong magic surged around. A huge and extremely magnificent space portal has already appeared in the place Qin Yan selected earlier. With the scale of this portal, even an army of tens of thousands of people can be transported within 10 minutes. This is a very terrifying thing for large-scale wars. This shows the powerful strategic capabilities of the 2A portal. And Qin Yan also noticed. In the area surrounding the portal, there is also a layer of magic energy area that seems to be real. It is the magic shield effect triggered by the god-level talent of the chosen sun. Under the protection of the magic shield. It is almost impossible for the enemy to destroy the space portal unexpectedly. Let's go, Eliza. At the moment, Qin Yan was a little impatient. Let's go to the quiet forest and build the remaining space portal. Yes, master. After saying that, Qin Yan immediately twisted the Pluto ring on his fingertips. Then, under the tearing of magic energy, he disappeared instantly. ARI. When he appeared again, Qin Yan had already brought the fairy dragon Eliza back to the quiet forest. Natural fruit. However, as soon as he landed, Eliza directly flapped her gorgeous dragon wings and shuttled back and forth between several huge fruit trees, causing several elf girls to scream. Of course, they could also sense the aura of friendly units emanating from Eliza, so they did not attack her. But seeing that the natural fruits that they had cultivated with great effort were being enjoyed by Eliza at will, the elf girls couldn't help but grumble. Eliza, help build the portal first. Seeing this scene, Qin Yan also smiled and said, after the elf girls experience the feeling of space teleportation, they will take the initiative to give you the most delicious natural fruits. Yeah.
Hearing that there are the most delicious natural fruits, Alyssa immediately exuded endless fairy dust. Instantly, the construction speed of the new space portal increased again. Chapter 150. The Elf Legion, the journey of raiders begins. The area of the continent in the Age of Empires is several times larger than that in the real world. Take the player's territory for example. If it is based on the real world, the current territory area, population and resource reserves of Valinor are definitely not just town level. So Qin Yan still needs to work hard to build his territory into an indestructible and invincible empire. And the 2A portal that Qin Yan is currently building. It can make his expansion plan take a big step forward in an instant. Ding dong. Congratulations to the player, the 2A portal has been successfully built. With the help of Eliza, soon, a pleasant system sound rang in his ears. When the sound came, Qin Yan immediately showed a satisfied smile. The area of the continent in the Age of Empires is too large, and the transportation speed is too slow to rely on ships or air flight. In order to solve the transportation problem, the magicians studied the direction of space transmission magic and finally developed a space transmission portal. Ignore the distance in space. Anywhere, just build the corresponding portal, and you can get there in an instant. It is extremely convenient. There are many types of portals, including one-way portals and the 2A portals I'm building now. However, the most powerful one is the multi-way portal. The effect of the multi-way portal is even more powerful than the 2A portal. You only need to build a portal anywhere, and the portals will be connected to each other. Then when you enter any of them, options for all portal areas will appear for you to choose. You can teleport to wherever you want. It is convenient and fast. The legendary real multi-directional portals only exist occasionally in the original top empires on the continent of the Empire era. Qin Yan had only heard of it in his previous life, but had never seen it. But he knew it clearly. This kind of magic empire does exist on the continent of the Empire era, with a dazzling array of space portals scattered throughout it, thousands of them, extremely spectacular, and a real magic empire. Of course, those empires are built up over time. Qin Yan has now obtained the architectural drawings of the 2A portal. The next step is just time to settle. Accumulate enough resources to build a portal. In the future, it will definitely be possible to build Valinor into such a top empire. The 2A portal built at the moment. It is keen the first step of Yan's plan. But at this time, a burst of magic surged in the space portal. Afterwards, a graceful figure slowly walked out of it. It was the extremely beautiful Trisna. Master. Walking out of the space portal, Trisna's face was filled with joy. The space portal can now operate normally! Is this the legendary space portal? The Lord has actually built such a precious building! You are worthy at being the Lord. Looking at Trisna slowly walking out of the space portal, the surrounding elf girls looked at Qin Yan with endless admiration and excitement. They have heard of the space portal, and they also clearly understand how precious and rare this thing is. But now their lord has successfully built it. How can this not make the elf girls surprised and happy? Master, at this time, Trisna asked, should we let the elf warriors go to Crystal Song Forest to camp now? Yes, I plan to let the elf warriors completely occupy Crystal Song Forest first, and then let them conquer the surrounding areas little by little. Qin Yan nodded, and then told his plan. In this way, when the war starts in the future, Crystal Song Forest and the entire surrounding area will become a strategic fortress in the south of the base camp. As expected of you, Lord Qin Yan. After listening quietly, Trisna looked at Qin Yan with more and more enthusiasm. Let me complete this plan for you. Yes. Qin Yan nodded. As a goddess of nature, Trisna also has the ability of healing aura. It is a good choice for her to lead the forest elf army. Trisna will definitely not let you down. After getting Qin Yan's consent, Trisna immediately began to reorganize the elf army in the quiet forest, and then commanded them to start the journey of conquering through the 2A portal that had just been built. Ding dong. Congratulations to the player, the Tree of Life has been successfully built. Current level. Primary town. Territory area. 0.145000 square kilometers, not yet satisfied. It has not been more than a week since Qin Yan was reborn and landed on the Empire-era continent. Trisna also slowly disappeared from the spot. After a long time, the whole person was exhausted physically and mentally. Territory name. Valinor. Territory buildings. Satisfied. Ding dong. Congratulations to the player, the ancient Tree of War has been successfully built. Qin Yan's trusted men are all extremely intelligent and absolutely loyal to him. But the larger the base number,
the faster the population growth rate. In short, the above is the current situation of Valina. But in this life, the total population of the territory has even exceeded the million mark, although there is still a certain gap from the upgrade standard of 1.8 million people. At this time, as the last elf warrior walked into the space portal, Trisna also expressed her endless loyalty to Qin Yan again. As the pleasant system sounds rang in Qin Yan's ears. Seeing this scene, Qin Yan couldn't help but sigh in his heart. Besides, the level upgrade speed of Valina is already quite impressive. At the same time, after the number of troops increases, the expansion speed of the territory will also be improved. It is a miracle that the territory can be built to the current level in such a short time. It is so wonderful. The territory area is about to reach 30,000 square kilometers. Then, the light flashed. Next level. Intermediate town. Suddenly, the territory area of Valina began to increase at a speed visible to the naked eye. After all, until now, we elf warriors are willing to expand the territory for the Lord. Territory resources. Satisfied. Territory upgrade. In his previous life, he had to do almost everything himself. It's so cool to have subordinates. Territory population 1017149180000. Not yet satisfied. All they need to do is give orders and they will act immediately. The territory level will be upgraded again, and it is just around the corner! Ding dong. Congratulations to the player, the Well of Eternity has been successfully built. Chapter 151. Gaming Helmet, sold again. Watching Trisna's graceful figure slowly disappearing in the space portal, Qin Yan's face suddenly showed a relieved smile. Not having to do everything by himself, this feeling can be described as wonderful. Of course, he also has things to do. Next, we must still capture the entire Doomsday Volcano. Yes, this is Qin Yan's next plan. The Doomsday Volcano is located in the south of the Quiet Forest. Almost the entire southern border is considered a volcanic zone. The same situation also occurred in the north of the Crystal Song Forest. The Doomsday Volcano is sandwiched between the Quiet Forest and the Crystal Song Forest. Although I have now built a two-way space portal in the two forests, and the outer periphery of the space portal is protected by a magic shield. Qin Yan rubbed his temples. But the Doomsday Volcano in the middle must still be captured. It's not that he doesn't have confidence in the elf core. Trisna understands the importance of the space portal, and Qin Yan believes that she will definitely send heavy troops to guard it nearby to prevent the enemy from destroying it. But everything has the possibility of happening. The Empire continent is full of unknowns. No one can guarantee whether the enemy has special magic that can restrain the space portal. And if the space portal in the Crystal Song Forest is destroyed, Qin Yan wants to send troops to provide reinforcements. The shortest distance can only be across the Doomsday Volcano. But as we all know, volcanic land is extremely dangerous. If there is a temporary attack, accidents are inevitable. So now Qin Yan's next plan is to attack the Doomsday Volcano, open up the shortest path between the Quiet Forest and the Crystal Song Forest, and station the army inside to ensure that the road is always open. In this way, even if the space portal is accidentally destroyed, the reinforcements can still replenish the combat power of the elves in the Crystal Song Forest in the shortest time. The Crystal Song Fortress is well deserved. The next morning. The moment the mobile phone alarm rang, Qin Yan immediately got up from the bed. After building the two-way portal yesterday, it was almost 11 o'clock in the evening, so he went offline to rest. Now, it is 7:30 in the morning. Sleep time is already very sufficient. More time should be spent on building the territory. There are more propaganda news. Qin Yan flicked through the information on his phone. It was not information sent to him by others, but various promotional information about Age of Empires on major platforms. Holographic virtual online game, the second world of mankind. Is it true or false? Is it an advertisement or an exaggeration? In short, various news software, as well as forums, can all show relevant information. Qin Yan turned over and got out of bed, holding his phone to wash up, but a pin post on his phone attracted his attention. The number of people who have purchased the game helmet this time has reached 300. At 8 o'clock tonight, we will prove the authenticity of this game for you! Has 300 people already purchased it? Seeing this post, Qin Yan simply didn't rush to wash up, but clicked into the store to check it out carefully. Sure enough, as the title said, the content of the post was the list of people who bought the game helmet. The names of various big names such as Prince Wang, Teacher Pao, XXBB, etc. are listed in order. In the comment area below the post, all game enthusiasts left messages one after another. Their words are nothing more than bragging about various big names and their expectations for Age of Empires. If it is true, they will immediately buy game helmets to follow up. What's more, they have already bought game helmets. Just wait for 8 o'clock tonight, and then follow up immediately. At the same time, after Qin Yan logged into the official website of Age of Empires, he indeed found that the number of remaining game helmets had been reduced by more than thousands. And this number is still increasing rapidly. Game helmets are sold every minute and every second. What's more, the official mall will definitely usher in a big explosion in the hour before 8:00 clock. According to this progress, the number of players who log into Age of Empires tonight is at least more than 20,000. Even 100,000 players is absolutely possible. The era of universal online games is not far away. Putting down the phone, Qin Yan looked at the sky outside the window. This news is not surprising, but it can only be said to be a little dazed. After all, the price of the game helmet of Age of Empires is only 100,000 yuan. For ordinary players, few people are willing to spend this money, but in the eyes of these local tycoons and gamers, this 100,000 yuan is almost negligible. When they land on the continent of Age of Empires and confirm that this game is indeed as the slogan says, Age of Empires will surely become popular all over the world overnight. After all, this is a world-class game. Add to the overwhelming publicity. It is incredible that someone bought the helmet until tonight. Of course, Qin Yan is not particularly worried about this matter. Now his power in the continent of Age of Empires has far exceeded that of others. One step faster, every step faster. In the future, other players are destined to have their own adventures. But compared with the current villainer, it is nothing at all. By the way, this idea is not bad. And at this time, Qin Yan suddenly thought of something, then picked up the phone and slowly typed in the text. If the game Age of Empires is really a holographic virtual online game as the slogan says, then the first players to log in should choose the center of the game continent as the birth point, and it is best to choose a place like the forest, where there are abundant resources and it is easy to get through the most difficult period of building a territory in the early stage. After typing a long paragraph of text, Qin Yan immediately clicked to send. After the comment was sent, it attracted countless netizens to reply after a while. The vast majority of people agreed. As game enthusiasts, they are still clear about this basic common sense. Of course, some people sneered and disdained Qin Yan's suggestion. But it doesn't matter. If you knew that Age of Empires would come to reality in the future, then these 100,000 places would have been snatched up long ago. Putting down the phone, Qin Yan's eyes flashed a hint of coldness. But since you have chosen this form now, I don't mind. In the comment he just made. The center of the continent mentioned, as well as the forest area. Without a doubt, it refers to the quiet forest. The best area in the entire continent has been occupied by Qin Yan. If others dare to get involved. Tonight at 8 o'clock, it will be the moment of global shock. Fin est capture much as great as Pelaga has to el final. No se indeed all like busgasms contenido exclusive yxo immediato. Si scribata news to Patreon. Recurda, card alike, si scripts in Odonakin nos anima continue. Great as a todos nos vemos on Elpsmovdo.